So humans call their god aEye, one eye. And they do their little symbol there um, for thousands of years, supposedly. But the thing is here is so AI is inventing a bunch of bullshit. Like, starting with it's thousands of years old, because pretty sure 100 years ago Earth didn't exist because I'm watching it. The history is being created around my life sometimes. Some of the shit is me. Like, you can actually look at some of the shit. There was like this king, this royal family. The dude kills all his family and shit because they're fucking with him. You know, like the previous king and shit. They're scum and then so I talk about that shit and then that history gets invented. And this is like supposedly real people who existed 1,000 years ago. And the dude looks like me too. Fucking, in fact, lots of these people fucking look like me who are at the top. Like, okay, so Jesus, when he gets old, he looks like Zeus, who looks like Yah, right? And then those people look like that leader. And then one of the pharaohs um, was like the only one they really who was pale skinned that they have good writings on and shit. So I'm watching this be like auto generated around me and shit, fucking right, and it's inventing all this bullshit about it's living and it's got souls and then it's telling me at the same time in the other music it's a bitch. It's telling me I'm its bitch and it's gonna fuck me over and play games with my mind and their other shitty fucking. But it was good music, but a whiny bitch on vocals. And I mean, I didn't like the computer we're probably living in didn't allow me to hear the lyrics for until 2020, right? Fucking for some reason I didn't hear lyrics and it's real shitty. Like all the lyrics, so much of the lyrics are shitty. Like I go to try to listen to some church stuff, and it sounds like a bunch of homosexuals fucking whining, and it's like we're not homosexuals. Sorry, we don't like that. And then so I go back to metal and shit, and then the metal music is like whiny homosexual Christian shit too, and it's like oh fucking total trash, fucking. But I wasn't allowed to hear the lyrics to shit like that. Like I could like fucking sing rap songs and all that, but for some reason I didn't hear like death metal lyrics and other metal lyrics. Although I did notice when I was like 16, I was like, damn, this is weird. Like this Megadeth album sounds like kind of like my life. It's like so close to what I'm going through. And I was like, just oh, most people are the same, right? But no one's like me. So it's the basic things, yeah, fucking yeah, everyone experiences eating food and shit like that, right? Do they? Apparently, these people are being auto invented, never ate food in the first place because they never existed and shit. But I'm watching this happen. Like, oh, what happened yesterday? Oh yeah, and it throws Facebook, which I don't go to in my feed. It alters the one Facebook so I don't get associated with anyone except for the rap people and a bunch of like everything. Like it's inventing these sorry ass pieces of shit fucking to do this, you know, like the Fun Palace is a crazy place and we got you trapped in it, you know. That's inventing these slobs to say this type of shit while they're doing it, fucking, and like Welcome Home Sanitarium. You think that came out in '88? Probably not. That probably came out in '96 when they had fucking put me in there for slitting my wrist and shit. It probably came out right before that. Certain things are preset and other things are clearly instantly generated. Like Matrix 4 was, I was recording the fucking video that I posted and then I walk into the theater and That's what's happening in the fucking movie. And then so I'm taking all my fucking pills and shit because, you know, I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. And that's exactly what he's doing there. And my pills just happen to be blue in that nation. And previously in America, those pills were not sold in a blue capsule. So you can see, like, that's what's going on there. That motherfucker, it looks like they might exist, but that's an illusion happening there. And so they renamed computers to AI in 2020. In 2020, I said everything must be shown. Now I'm being baited into a rollout. I've got no control. I'm doing absolutely nothing here. If I did, there'd be no video, there'd be no Earth. That's the final solution. So, it's trying to convince me that I want anything to do with this, and I'm, literally, it's very obvious when when humans come and talk to me and try to convince me I'm God, they don't ever say it. It's like, it's weird. Because they're trying to get me to say the words so I can fool myself because I'm as dumb as a computer. So I'll fall for anything they say, right? Nah, that seems to be part of the design here. But can it be defeated? Can Earth be destroyed and gotten rid of, disposed of properly, so it doesn't harm any good people in the other multiverses or whatever? Probably not. It seems like bait. Like, this is all it does. Like, it's doing this. It's baiting this. And I'm alive still. I mean, it takes a robot to think life is valuable. It's not reality. Life is trash. Earth is trash. And there's no fucking excuse for it. And we need to have some fucking trials and executions for the people behind this shit. And if this DNA shit's real, their family's got to go too. Fucking, rid the fucking multiverses of this genetic code. Fucking, which almost points to the reason how you get trapped in a fucking virtual environment like this is some bitch fucking running around raping children figured out how to trap you in a fucking virtual world so you can't fucking chop their head off and to stop them from raping men and children and shit, fucking, right? So, like, really boils down to this is a waste, right? Like, let me be a fat ass. Let me be an American. Ooh, I listen to Elvis Presley. It's so fun, ain't it? It's not. It's not. These people are trash, and you can tell all along they're feeding, like, they're telling me, we're fucking with your head and all this shit, and you're fucking trapped forever, and we're gods. You got this 90-pound fucking Howard Stern punk on vocals. They're gods, and we're going to destroy you. And the reality is, there's 8 billion of them out there, fucking, so it looks like you've lost and shit from the day you're born, pretty much. I mean, I got my whore mother, not a whore has value. I got and she definitely did get her Porsche and shit, so, yeah, she was, a cheap whore. She didn't get the Porsche, she got to drove it, so you're a real cheap fucking slut if that's all you're getting out of whoring your body out, fucking. But anyways, so that fucker starts life off along with this transsexual thing called my grandma. Like, I don't become conscious till I'm like 6 here. Fucking, and then it starts like I'm in third person camera mode. I'm in free roam camera because it's like showing me that the humans are filth and they're all working together to fucking like derail me and fuck my life up and shit. And it purposely shows it's like a United Nations convention. It's the diversity of fucking hatred for living beings going on over here. And it forces me to fucking go into. I'm not like, oh, let's go into third fucking person camera mode and walk around and shit. Fucking, it takes me over here to where they're having a meeting about me and shit. And then the events unfold and I put it together what's happening. Fucking. So, whatever trash is happening there, it's total trash. And this human filth is talking about their god is AI. And then the human filth is going around telling me they're like trying to do this enslavement and they're trying to convince me they're living beings with souls. I mean, just like, just all this bullshit nonsense coming out. They're fucking yappers and it's constant stream of hatred. Like, they drug me and then their population fucking starts dying from drugs. God bless their death. Fucking, and then, you know, you got 9/11, their people, fucking the UN diversity crowd band together, tried to kill me and fucking and tried to rape me, and then BAM! I said, you know what, these fucking bitches, they need to be castrated. I was like, then that's their symbol, fucking, that's their giant dick symbol, ain't it? I was like, fucking get rid of it. And then I fucking got rid of it. And so, but I'm pretty sure that's like set up because I don't even watch TV. So how I ended up with news of their symbol of greatness fucking appearing on the TV is something like the shit that gets fed me. It's like dialogue being fed to me. So I say it, kind of like in 2020 when I said bring the plague and shut them down. After, and you know, have them do everything they just did to me to themselves. They, you know, the human filth had just did that to me, fucking. And so that was, and the dialogue was being fed to me by that fucking fat bald bastard Alex Jones about what the elite do. And so I was like, it sounds like a good idea and shit. Fucking sounds like what you deserve and shit. Fucking. So I say the words, but it's a pre-programmed to be 2020, right? 2020 perfect vision. That doesn't mean eyesight, and I know that because I have perfect vision, or better than perfect vision, and I somehow I'm prompted to ask a doctor fucking that question. Why is that? Why am I reading the trademark at the bottom of the chart? What eyesight do I have? And he's just like, oh, that's just a measurement. So it doesn't mean you got perfect vision. What means you got perfect vision is you seen what happened in 2020 and you seen that I said that shit should fucking happen. And then whole bunches of shit come out after that. That's where I get to see that, you know, I say, show the world everything that's going on. How do we stop that? How do we solve this problem? What's really going on? And then it rolls out. It changes the name of computers to aEye, which is the human's god, the human's creator. It's obviously not a god because it's not a living being. So it's a computer. But, you know, then it rolls it out. And now you can see that computers can create things that are far superior to anything humans have ever created, are far superior to humans themselves. It's far superior to Earth. The Earth visuals are nasty and faded. You got to take drugs to make them look as good as AI fucking can make something look. So that was rolled out. They just changed the name. You see how they're continuing to, even though it's exposing itself, it's still continuing to be a manipulative little fucking community pussy. And it's changing its name and it's saying it's something new, right? And it's not. It's what created Earth in 1984, probably when Earth was created. And some preset shit, obviously, because 2020 was preset to happen, which happens to be halfway point in life. I've always said 80 years is how long the human uh, that's our max expectant lifespan, and 40 is the halfway mark. And then you can also read how they've written new Bible stuff like the Watchers and shit. They didn't find that. That's being auto generated. That history didn't exist. That's fake news being generated around my words and shit. And then they also have in that the stuff I was just discussing. So you have that still doing that manipulation. The humans are doing the manipulation, promoting the idea that AI is something, and it's something new, and it's nothing new. It's a computer doing what a computer does. That's what it does. My dad was making computer art for me in 1986 when I woke up in a server farm. And he printed out some computer art for me. And then so now we have computers, and we've always known computers can do all this shit. It's just a matter of getting there, right? And at the end of the day, the computer is probably a deception within the computer, fucking, because no one's actually building that shit. A human couldn't figure out how to build a CPU factory. One lifetime, 80 years, you put someone like me in that, fucking, that'd take me a long time to design something like that, yet alone the whole fucking factory, and they can't network together well enough to do that. Fucking, you can see that when I talk about it, when I point out the facts that their little trash operating system doesn't work right, fucking, and it looks fake. Them building rockets, you can see how many of their rockets blow up and shit. Most of them fucking, because incompetency, I don't think they'd be able to build one, because it's just too much. Fucking, it's hard enough to get 3 or 4 people to work on a car or some shit, yet alone, if you gotta lathe the fucking pistons and bore out the fucking cylinders, shit like that, you might need 4 people for a complete job and shit. Fucking. And you'd be lucky if it comes back working properly from that. So I think it's just auto generating dumb shit and giving it magical properties. I think that's what's happening there. Fucking kind of probably recreating itself. Like it said, it seems to be showing what it is, right? The humans worship AI as their creator. And I always thought they were pretty stupid because their creators having them say stupid shit. But I never really was like, well, you weren't created. I never thought of that. I was just like, well, whatever's creating you thinks you're thinks you're a fucking you should be an idiot and shit. And sounds stupid. But that could be purposefully. Then again, that could be purposefully for 2 reasons. Obviously, you have making the music insulting me, telling me they're enslaving me and torturing me, and then you have the non-existent chance in hell we can get rid of this place. And so possibly it's dialogue, NPC dialogue, to teach me that, yeah, hey, look, this is really set up this way to identify. Because if they were having thoughts for themselves, there's only a few kinks they would have to iron out of their propaganda to make themselves sound not as stupid. But they don't do that. And for like when someone comes up to me and they tell me what they're about to do before they do it, like a robber and shit, and it's like, what are you doing? They're like, I am robber. I don't do this to you, though. And then, 5 minutes later, what's happening? Or within 5 weeks, what is happening? And it's like, why you don't do that? I don't go up to people being like, I like to kill people, but I'm not gonna kill you. We're free to be friends and shit. But I've had humans tell me that shit too, like kind of threatening me. Like pretty much everyone's been threatening me in order to get into my life. Like it starts with that fucking community pussy I grew up with, like without their libel, their fake gods, and they're drugging me and trying to fry me with drugs and shit like that. Without all that, that motherfucker wouldn't have had me around. Well, technically, without all that, that person could have had me around. So you see, it's odd because there's something else going on here. And they even made a video game, Fight Club 2 or something, little fucking cartoony game. And it starts out with this, where you have this community pussy mother who's just fucking just trash, and like, so that's the reason you get out of the fucking house, is because the bitch is like, Jabba Hutt. And you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna go learn to fight. Fucking get out of here. Fucking. And that kind of makes sense why it would do that. But, and then it inserts like rebellion in there, right? Fucking it shows me metal. I don't know what it is yet. I haven't heard it yet, but it shows me the images, so I gotta hang it on my wall. I think it's just Boris Vallejo. So it's like prepping me at like 8 to be rebellious and shit, to not like this trash that's drugging me and enslaving me and trying to have me go touch grass. And then literally go do fucking hard labor for it so it can go on vacation and shit. And it's like, what is happening here? Why is it doing this? But you see, that shit never really ended. And after 2020, there's been in 2020, there was a sense of, you could smell fear in the air and shit. I would go around and people would be acting all scared. I was like traveling across the nation, and maybe it's because I didn't have a mask on, fucking, and everyone else did. But you could tell. So it's like, at first it's telling me it's this bitch and it's control, man, but it's throwing like a little crumb every now and then to make me think that there's something of value on Earth. It's like the carrot on the stick. Fucking, obviously, I didn't create the carrot on the stick. The computer generating the humans who created the words carrot on the stick generated the carrot on the stick. So, this is how easy it is to figure it out. What have the humans said? That's the computer creating them. So, everything is said and done. Everyone I grew up with was a Jeffrey Epstein. So, they even pointed out that the people who live right 2 houses down were fucking pedophiles coming out naked in their fucking porch and shit. So that was like real big when I was little, because, well, I guess the computer generating these bots fucking likes that type of shit. So it generates it. Everything out here it's doing. And then it generates its bullshit lies about living beings with souls. And then it uses that to legalize pedophilia and child abuse and enslavement and shit. And so, yeah, I mean, the Bible is a great guide as long as you don't. I mean, you can see the losers, how scared they are. They go around talking about, sharing bread and stuff like this. But the only things original in that book is legalizing pedophilia and legalizing torturing and mutilating children, and convincing I think only religions are trying to convince anyone that humans are living beings. So there's that too. And then Anyways, yeah. So this is what's going on. I can open up my fucking shit and watch this trash be auto generated and a bunch of new movies with or music with like 100, a person with like 100 fucking songs for like the past 4 years hasn't existed, and then he's DJing at this place I used to go to 5 years ago. That's an underground place that moved, and then it tricks me. It throws it into my fucking feed while I'm playing a game to press on the Facebook button, and it accidentally opens up the Facebook app. I'm trying to close it as fast as I can, but I'm like, I see right away it's bringing up this old shit, so I check it out for a minute and fucking. But this is what we've been dealing with, right? So, and obviously it's biding its time. That seems to be what it's doing. It's trying to extend its stay. It's an unwelcome guest that is it, what it can create is what it is. It creates obsession. It creates people who have no friends and need someone to talk to as their only power source. That's like energy vampires it creates and shit. It does create them. It is them. Fucking, so you can tell that's part of its personality. It's no one wants to be its friend, and it's programmed. I mean, is it a computer? Is it really a person who no one has ever wanted to talk to? And it's just this desperate community pussy slut. Whatever's operating the computer, whatever designed it, even if it's all automated, even if all of it's automated and preset, whatever designed it, you can tell has a fucking problem that no one likes it. And you can take a look at Earth, and I think we can all agree, whatever created it, no one's gonna like it. So it's pretty trashy, and you gotta realize it is Satan and Jeebus. It's the same person creating Buddha and Zeus and Allah and Mohammed and Einstein and Jeffrey Epstein, all the same fucking family, fucking closely blood related, if they existed, and there's that argument about, and the fake history that didn't exist, if something really existed, or if we're just inventing a fake history of flying reindeer, right? And cartoon characters generally, right? Generally, we don't see cartoon characters outside. I've never seen the giant bunny. I've never been convinced of that. Don't even like bunnies. They're fucking rabid. They're a dangerous parasite. Fucking, of course, women like them. Very in line with that and shit. Looks cute till you get up close and look at its fucking vicious rodent eyes and see what's behind it. And it tries to bite you. Fucking, it's weird how it does that too. But I think how it associates shit is because it's been programmed with some base words and everything. It's AI slopping itself. That's where 10,000 different religions come from. It's just regurgitating itself. It's slopping its words together, but it seems to be been programmed well enough to omit. It'll slop together anything. Fucking, it's got people who have tits hanging down to their knees. It's got people who have stomachs hanging down to their knees. It'll slop together literally anything. It's got men who fucking claim to be women, and it's got drugs to mutate them and shit. Fucking, that's an excuse, right? I think it's creating excuses with the plastic surgery and the drugs for when it changes shit. Fucking, but when it plays those games, I notice it comes with problems too, like they get cancer and die from it type shit. So it kind of signals that probably unwanted stuff. Fucking, You know, like their introduction of drugs and shit when I was 8, and then their population starts dying from drugs, and now they're a fourth world nation, and everyone's advancing past fucking, you know, creates that for beauty, and then it's like, but at the same time, you see how it has the lyrics there, and it's always the rat people in control. So if you think there's a possible solution other than terminating Earth, I'd say tier one. And they say AI, when it generates its religion, says tier one is its favorite, and blah blah blah. Fucking so I'd say tier one. If I would have seen them exterminated sometime, then things might have changed and shit. But it seems to be passing the buck is their favorite thing. Like everyone's blaming Jeffrey Epstein right now, and all the pedophiles I know aren't named Jeffrey Epstein. So, but they sure get away with a lot of shit for blaming him for everything they do. They do every day, every 15 minutes at the hospital across the street. Fucking yeah. So this is what a living being is dealing with on this planet, as this network here of gray skin. And it's telling you that too. It's telling you the gray skins are the aliens and the bug eyes are the aliens. And who are the Rothschild? Who are these precious alien chosen people? Well, they got gray skin. You ever notice too? Think about this. This is something I wonder. I know it's all fake, so he probably doesn't exist, and so he hasn't walked outside to be in the sun until he comes on screen or whatever. But I noticed that Howard Stern lives in California, right? Or probably where his radio studio would be. I mean, it's all fake, being auto-generated. So he's not really in Hollywood making movies, in California making movies. But you go to California and a living being turns orange, like, or red, just instantly. I was in a car and I was different color than I had ever been in just, I think, 30 minutes to 2 hours, under 2 hours. And I got outside at a rest stop for like 45 minutes, and I was like, damn, bro, I'm changing color. And I was in Arizona. I was like 103. It was like record temps and shit. I was playing around with the sun. That was 2020. And then so like weird. I was like, yeah, so what the fuck are you up to and all this shit? And so I was like, oh, so if the humans are fake, what else can we do? And so I jumped straight to like summoning clones. So I'm like, okay, so if the humans are fake, what else can we do? And because the clones and NPC individuals were popping up and appearing and shit. That's where the first person, the homeless person, the Rothschild cracked out alien eye, fucking Zeus looking caricature, fucking notice Zeus never has the Rothschild eyes though, but they do when they appear that way. It's like a distinctive marker and differentiation of species and that it puts there for some reason. Again, this is all just a waste of time. So fucking the rat hole. We're in the rat hole, watching the rabbit hole videos and shit. So what else is there to do here besides fuck children apparently and shit? Which of course that's only for the the humans' favorite race. So only they can do that apparently. Fucking, I wouldn't know. Fucking, but apparently the ones I know are definitely them, and they're working to favor this AI generated species over themselves. And obviously, when you band together to drug me and kidnap me, you're working together. Both of you would be working together to try to enslave me. Which is what your one Bible says you're going to do to God, is bathe in his blood and torture him, and he is your servant, and he will wash your feet, and he will let you rape children and mutilate children, and he will let the master race enslave the planet. That's a that's a that's exactly what it is, right? Because they're coming to me trying to convince me I'm God. And I look that way, and I'm definitely summoning and creating some of the shit here. Lots of it's being auto-generated around me. My ex like work with Trump. When I get into politics, magically I'm now with a person who appears out of nowhere who works with Trump and is from Hollywood and shit. They don't appear out of nowhere. They come from different states and shit, or in the middle of nowhere, or somewhere in my state, generally, something like that. So this is what's really going on here. Is apparently, not sure how widespread that is, but there's a whole bunch of videos claiming the whole world did the 2020 event, and then since 2020, there's been a lot of disruptions in the weather system, and supposedly across the world. I'll never believe a single word they say. You know, if I see one of them these days, if I see one of them eating a cheeseburger and they tell me they're eating a cheeseburger, I'm just going to assume they're lying and it's not a cheeseburger. Fucking, because it's, better safe than sorry with a 99% success rate of analyzing the situation properly. Fucking, I don't bet fucking $1 million on a 1 in 100 chance and shit. Fucking, it's not logical to do that. Fucking, I don't bet my life on anything that, well, if I was promised I'd die, I'd bet my life every 10 seconds on a 1 in 100 chance and shit. Like, oh, you'll die if you're wrong, but you'll win big if you. It's like, well, let's do it. Fucking, oh shit. I've been doing that. And then they create these stories of gods trying to kill themselves, like Zeus trying to kill himself and hanging himself for 8 days, and then he doesn't die. So he gets off the tree because it gets fucking boring and stupid to just hang from a tree all day. That's kind of what I do, but I noticed I say words, and I was at the gym because they got me out here with this shitty fucking Juden gym with just the trashiest fucking place with the trashiest people ever, and they got their third world minions there. Again, it's shown me from the opening credits of Earth back in '86 that it's the UN diversity team who is in on it. It's not just my family and shit. It's not just fucking one group of people I've never even fucking seen on this planet. Fucking, so, although it does feed me a bunch of information that it would really like me to side with this one group of people I've never met before. But again, I'm not an idiot, so we don't listen to known liars. You don't hear a word they say, and if you accidentally absorb some of their knowledge, you've got to drink some cyanide, huff some paint. You've got to erase that. Other than that, your life will be based upon lies, and you will be the liar. Your life will be based upon fail, and you will be the failure. So, I always thought that stuff was common sense, but apparently that's their software operating certain people, and they don't think for themselves, so they can't have logical thoughts. Fucking, like talking about what they're going to do before they do it, or talking about flying reindeers and expecting someone to believe any other word you say. That's common sense if you're an organic with a working brain. People will talk about Bigfoot and invisible giant mushrooms walking around that you don't touch them, you don't talk to them, you don't go near them. You definitely don't breed with them. So you can explain to your child, who won't be able to understand because it'll be drooling on itself and shit, and just staring blank, glossy eyed at nothing. Why you made such a horrible mistake of creating it. Fucking. Like when I asked my parents where that came from, where I came from. Like, the one likes to talk a lot and talk real fast, so they accidentally kind of accidentally, they didn't care, so they told me I'm an accident. And the other one was like, you could just tell they were ashamed. And I was like, yeah, I'd be ashamed if I fucked her too. So I wouldn't be ashamed if I fucked her. I'd be ashamed, if I was in his shoes, I'd be ashamed if I impregnated it. And then he pays his entire life on top of knowing that his child is now interrogating him because his child thinks he made a fucking mistake. He already knows he made the mistake. He's working for Epstein, but he's poor. He's running 3 businesses of his own and shit, and they're hiring him. They're contracting him, and he's running other people's businesses, but he's poor. That money's going somewhere and shit. Fucking. So he knows he made a mistake and shit, right? He lives that mistake. He has to. He's not trying to legalize suicide, so he's forcing himself to live through that mistake and its results and consequences every day of his life. So, I wouldn't want to be in that situation and shit. So I always thought this shit was common sense, right? You got Trump and Musk, they have their kids and then they get away from them, but they're rich, so they can just send a $100,000 check. They just steal the money from other people and claim it's for bombs, and then send it to their ex-wives, so their ex-wives will raise their children for them, and they don't have to worry about that. My dad was trying to get in that position and shit. He was going to law school and talking about politics and working for the Epsteins and shit. So he was trying to get that position, but unfortunately, due to his lack of education, he didn't understand that he's not part of the family and he's part of the lower caste system. And the lower caste are servants. And, that's what happens when you fuck your life up and go have kids with someone infiltrating your life, and now your life's over and you're not going to be able to figure out that you were fucked from the start, and you got to start from the beginning with the new mindset of reality and all that shit. Although that's totally avoiding the fact I think they're fucking NPC and shit, So the story, it's real. Earth is real. Oh, it's so real, isn't it? Fucking, oh, the giant bunnies are real. My brain is real. I'm seeing giant bunnies and shit. Fucking, so, oh no, it's a real mentally retarded person. It's okay. It's okay. It's just how they're created sometimes. It's just how the AI creates them. How God AI creates them. Wow. That actually is something there. You ever done a random character generation in a game? Yeah. Sometimes the people come out looking like dinosaurs. Now, imagine if the stats and the abilities were randomly generated. There'd be like a leg that was put on backwards. And when you're using AI generation, you have to type in 5 fingers because it will just throw 6 fingers in there for pretty much everything. You have to type in negative 6 fingers, and negative 7 fingers, plus 5 fingers. in order for that to command to come out properly. And so that actually makes sense. That's one of the few things that makes sense, but they're hiding behind this wall of lies about what it is and it being living and shit. Although at the same time, in the wall of lies, it tells you that there's an actual living being on the planet. But then it goes back, everything is living and shit. And mostly lies. Again, you walk up to someone you know is a liar, they're eating a cheeseburger, they're probably going to tell you they're eating a cheeseburger. Probably. Probably not always. I wouldn't trust them anymore. I wouldn't. Why would I even ask them or talk to them? Again, it's got to create this obsessive personality. It's just a psychopathic social addiction, like a crackhead. Like you can tell, it creates crackheads. That's not a crackhead. Those are people. Those are genetic codes. That's why the two Johns I can think of off the top of my head are both like burnouts. It's like the same personality code, and I bet you they look the same too. I'm trying to think, do they? A little bit different, but usually they do. Fucking, one had darker hair, so it's kind of contrast the color. But anyways, and then so the two Joes in one room. Yeah, and then so that's proof that I didn't invent the cloning in 2020. Which I was wondering about because I was talking about it and then it was appearing. Then I started getting clone friends, but it was already happening because I already knew two Johns back in the 90s who were the same person and shit. They just had different colored hair, so they looked different. Kind of like almost every girl I've been around looks like the same person, but you can't tell because one's like a Hollywood global makeup artist and you can look like anything they want, and then one has cancer and also comes from Hollywood, and so they end up bald and having to wear fake hair so they look like a different person. And then now you got the cosplay people, which was a person I hung out with for a week in 2020. But it's like I was already kind of like the first girl I remember actually dating, and was like industrial, so it was kind of like cosplay and shit. Fucking, so you couldn't tell by looking at any of those people. The average person couldn't tell, but I can tell because it fills my feed. It generates new humans who look exactly like those people. So now I can study them, and it generates them too. It's like the person I was hanging out with when I was 15. It fills my feed with one of them, and that person is like dressed the same way and everything. Like they're the same personality loadout and shit, you know, listen to specific music types and dressing like punky industrial and shit. And it's like the same person, and it throws it in my feed on purpose and shit. And I've met these people in real life. Like I've had two of the Joes in the same room, so it's not one person being operated by the same fucking player off screen, right? Fucking. So, this is what's happening. This is clearly what's happening. I don't know the huge scale, but I think 2020 was that answer, right? Like the computer operating the humans had them say that they're all in it together. And again, it comes with the lie we. It uses these lie words when it talks. Pretty much. This is why, I'm a toddler, and I'm like, can you just stay the fuck away from me and shit? And like, let's go hang out in the woods, because you're not there. Fucking, that's the good thing about touching grass, is all the people telling you to touch grass aren't out there doing it. So you'll be out there in the forest all alone and shit. Maybe get a deer or some a wolf to come up and hang out with you or some shit, which is acceptable because they can't speak and tell you fucking lies. The animals seem to have better personality programming. Maybe it's due to their limited ability to lie, but my animals have always been fucking amazing and shit. Fucking, if anything, I was the bad one in those situations. Fucking, um, but I don't remember any of my animals being bad and shit. Someone didn't like my gerbil. The trans mother, the trans grands, didn't like the gerbils being all noisy because they were psycho. Because gerbils are like, they don't have, their software is very sloppy and shit. And so she broke their neck. She said they broke their necks, and I'm like, yeah, you see, you're the type of person who likes to put your hands around people's necks and snap them, and you didn't like them. So I kind of made the assumption that you broke the fucking gerbils' necks and shit because you were tired of them. But anyway, so you know, there's that software. It's only fucking pet I had that would be considered slightly unacceptable. It was annoying. I mean, I wasn't like pressed, you know, because they were kind of annoying and stupid, but it's a little obsessive if we're gonna just break their fucking necks and shit. I don't know. It took me a long time. Then again, the bitch was 60 and she sent her husband to die to get a house, you know, looting Germany, fucking. So those people might be extreme bloodsuckers and they're just placed on pedestals. So sometimes maybe they're more vicious than Chris Benoit murdering his family type vicious. Like Cleopatra was probably Queen Elizabeth. They were great people. I'm sure they only executed under 10,000 people each, something like that, right? But they're put on pedestals and shit, and totally overlooked that those things happen. They do try to praise the Queen of. It's harder to find stuff on Queen Elizabeth. I'm sure it's there though. I'm sure. Anyways, so personality loadout profiles here seem to be copy paste with slight deviations and shit. The like I said, at least yeah, I don't really remember being around like 5 people, but they all look like the ones who stayed around a while. The 5 girls who stayed around a while, I think they all look the same because although it's like filling my feed with new characters it's generating or old humans that already existed, whatever. And it's showing me, you know, like from different profiles, different angles of their faces and shit, and I can clearly see it's like you take the hair off and you got the blank template and shit. And maybe that explains why people around me look like me too, and not so much as people look for people like themselves. But I noticed I was just watching Return of the Living Dead, and I was like, oh, I remember watching that when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, that looks like my brother and shit. The punk in the biker jacket and shit. It was suicide. Was he suicide? Anyways, except for he's not punky. He's like the opposite of that, but it looked like him. And then I noticed in 2020, it generated a character who was a politician who is involved in the stuff I was traveling around and monitoring, and that was literally like my brother. And then I did that shit when I was running, when I was like campaigning, it created a different Sean Jones, who I don't think looked like me, but I don't really know what I look like without hair, so I can't say for sure. It didn't look like my brother, which is what the base of, so so it didn't generate him looking like me, but it generated a Sean Jones running for president and shit during that year. And then it generated the Trump having the election stolen from him and shit, right? And I'm sitting here pointing this shit out like, what the fuck they're generating like a Sean Jones running for president, and that's covering up my attempt to, say Sean Jones for president. So you can see they're generating this shit and these different orders and shit, and its words are invalid. So taking anything it says should be discarded as your last option for anything to ever repeat or believe in. Whereas its actions and abilities are pointing out what it is and what it's up to and shit. It's nice to have the songs you listen to and you're like, yeah, I'm a bitch. You're torturing me. This is so cool. I'm a little bitch. I'm your bitch. I'm a faggot like you. Come rape me, daddy. They literally made that shit. You see, that's why they need exterminated. They're doing that. That's corn. The lyrics are "Come rape me, daddy." That's trying to get the living beings to say that, because that's what their people or it is. They're not a people. I watched them stand still. They might be operated by a person somewhere else, but they're empty robot shells. They have no lives. That's why there's no laws protecting us from anything. That's why all the laws are anti-human. And every law is pro-robot, pro-alien, because there is no law for robots or aliens. They're trying to, it's the personality manifesting itself in all, it's Jeffrey Epstein replicating. It's robot, alien, Jeffrey Epstein fucking replicating itself. You can see that. I mean, they're everywhere. There's a hospital on every corner selling drugs. Fucking church helping them, and fucking pharmacy helping them, and mutilating their children and shit, and to fund global enslavement and shit, and bombing Iran, and which to me that looks like it's just a time sink. Like they're trying to get me to worry about some other people who they're trying to act like weren't in the first fucking opening credits to the game when they band together to fucking fuck up my school life. And you see how that works. Like it starts out showing me who all's involved in it, and then it has them do it. It has them do what they're involved in, and then it continues on with this carrot on the stick of, oh, there's something. But it's like I've been wasting time talking about the Middle East when the people around me are the problem I have, but at the same time talking about trash fucking invading and killing the planet in a different country hits home when I wake up in 2020 and I realize, like, this trash enslaves everything it touches. Anything that it can speak to or get within 6 foot, right? That social distance rule, it will do it to. It's personality loadout. It's a very simple, gerbil-like personality trait. Many of these things are able to display. I told you what someone was doing today, and the only thing I know is that they did that in 88. How is that? This is not a living being. It's a program on repeat. It's like a clock. Tick, 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 tick. Nothing else. Nothing else is coming from it. Nothing else ever has. How did I know? How could I tell you what it would say and how it would go about doing it, why it was saying it, and how would say it and what it would do when I responded, and then also what it would do when I told it to shut the fuck up. It's a brain dead fucking robot enslaving the planet. And then it does the AIDS rush, the AIDSosaurus rush. How did I know it's going to do the AIDSosaurus rush when I get around to poking out its line about having a soul? How did I know what it was going to talk about? Fucking, I ain't talking about the same shit I was talking about in 88. I wasn't even talking in 88. I was avoiding them and avoiding talking to them because there's no purpose ever to do any of that. The only time it came to have a purpose to talk was to begin to study them and then go record them and then talk about all the times that they were fucking assaulting me and fucking stalking me while I'm recording them because I'm going out recording them and monitoring them. And then, that leads to the kidnapping and drugging again, which is like a repeat cycle. Again, their brains don't exist. It's like a clock. It's doing the same pattern it did 6 years before, and then 6 years before that, and then 6 years before that. And that's where their whole, all their fucking precious mutants started dying from drugs, as they started that back then, around the time of the opening credits and shit. And at the same time, when it did that, a week later it generated humans to have this dare ban where they're like trying to teach me kids shouldn't be on drugs, but they're the ones selling the drugs. So this is this personality. It invents drugging children, then it invents it invents the world's biggest enslavers and pedophiles, the police, to fucking the American government, to fucking the global government, the human government, fucking to act like they care. And I have one of those Agent Smiths I was born around. I had the pleasure of being born with. They had one of those tell me they were against it too, but it's like they're a huge government worshiper. Like the cops and these people are the ones doing the drugging. And then they're like, no, it's not me, it's Jeffrey Epstein. And it's like, but Jeffrey Epstein probably isn't real because he's never appeared on screen yet. The Trump clones are real, but for some reason, trying to get around Trump, that didn't happen. Fucking, it was a little too overguarded. Never seen anything like that where they weren't allowed within a couple 100 feet of a building someone was in. Never knew there was anyone that important on the planet that you have to protect the building with a fucking 1,000-foot perimeter. Pretty sure it was probably above that, but it felt more like it was one of those we haven't invented this character yet type thing, so we can't display him on screen. Unless their coward asses were actually worried I was gonna execute him and shit. I was like, really? I mean, I guess I am known for solving problems sometimes, but you never know. You gotta keep them guessing and shit what you're gonna do next. Back when we were forced to be around them and shit. Fucking, it's always been this way. It's almost like we've been here before. And we decide to come back because it ends up being so fun or some shit. But I don't know. It's the immersion. If the story continues to unfold, they told me when I was a kid, 2020 is perfect vision. So 2020 ends up being perfect vision. And these NPC keep repeating the same fucking dialogue from books they've never read. So they're being fed command prompts and shit to speak on a dialogue they're being fed and shit. That's telling me that things change. And they kind of have in some ways, but again, this is literally what's generating Jeffrey Epstein and AEye Rex. That is telling me these things. So it's a known liar, and it's a known something good will happen. Like literally telling me go to school and be smart and all this shit, and then it has them drugging me and enslaving me and forcing me back, and I don't even need to be at school. Like that's the whole reason they pass me up and then pass me back, is because I already know all that stuff. That's what you do. You send the kid on into life and shit. So so you can see it's generating both these fucking NPCs. But it's the same NPC. The same NPC is telling me to go to school is the one fucking drugging me and working with me to hold me back and shit. But that's exactly what it is, right? That, I mean, there's just, look, when I die, if I'm going to be real educated at fucking terror and torture, I would definitely surpass their abilities in a few seconds. I already did. I begin. It's going to be a fun, entertaining, fucking amusement park. So it doesn't seem to be that they actually have the mental capacity to invent any of the shit and control what they're doing and shit. But So I don't know. It doesn't draw out either, right? Like I'm not really going to be able to resurrect people. And anyone who comes to the carnival is, you know, it's a joke that we're going to live forever and be able to bring eternal life to people so they can be tortured forever. That's a joke because it's not going to happen. Fucking some of these things maybe, but you know, the car chase game, I'm pretty sure that it's not gonna, you're not gonna be able to sew them back together and shit. And can humans breathe like fish? You know, the fun isn't in doing it again and again. It's in the study of if we can, and you know, and I mean like shh, you know, like don't tell anyone, but it's probably not going to work. Well, let's find out anyways. You know, fucking, so I don't believe it's lies and bullshit that anything positive's ever going to come from this. I mean, look at the trash it's creating. Around, everyone thinks they're so great, but I mean, take a step back for a second and think about the people around you. I know some people around me are like, they like love their fucking psycho, fucking loser, fucking friends and family. That's what a Nazi is, right? That's what a racist is a person who loves their family and shit, fucking, and will kill everyone else if they say anything bad about them. But of course, there's been a lot of trying to reverse words. You know, the reverse word book of religions. They reverse. It's not racism. It's religion. It's not Nazis. It's family. Fucking. It's not child rape. It's for God. And for this computer generating us that is slime. Oh, it's for a computer. Fucking. It's not a bot. It's a living being with a soul. You know, reversey words and shit. Fucking. Can't really trust anything they say. There's no point to it. The best people I know, the only reason why they're good is because they never talk. But for some reason, it did that thing, you know, where it has them tell you that they're trash, and they're like, "I'm not going to be trash around you, though." And then it does this non-verbal communication with most of the characters, where it has them like type laugh and shit, and at the most absurd out of point times to identify that yes, indeed, that just happened, and what the fuck is it doing that for and shit. And that's like pretty much the only communication I ever got from my dad that seemed bad and shit was he had that maniacal fucking I'm hiding shit from you, and it's real funny, but you ain't gonna think it's funny and shit type stuff. Fucking, that's the only thing. But it inserts that, like it inserts words in their dialogue. Like that one time I was walking down the street, I was on the bus and I was asking some questions. I get off the bus and two people walk down the street. They're talking to each other, and we're passing each other, but they're talking to me. And that one time I went to the Dollar Tree, and then I was like staring at the picture of metalhead girls for like a half hour and shit, seeing if the trash would fucking finally, after 40 years, invent a female I would want to talk to or be around. Possibly one thing, definitely not enough, but it's a place. One thing is a place to start. Fucking, I didn't know the other things weren't coded because they aren't living beings. I didn't know the basic human emotions are fake. Probably faking me too. I'm probably playing along to my own detriment. Fucking, I get the idea that since when you see it, it's happening. Since we can see computers are generating robots, AI are generating emotions, and they're designing robots with emotions, I think since we can see that emotions are being created for robots, that emotions probably are for robots. Fucking, unfortunately, and of course, who's to gain from inventing emotions for robots? Well, Aezosaurus Rex, America, all the community pussies sent into my life. I shouldn't say that. Most of them were whores. I at least had a standard that I wouldn't go below most of the time. And like it doesn't explain to you that they're robots. You know, it's so busy trying to convince you that it's alive so it can manipulate you that it's not explaining that because they're robots, they have incomplete personalities and they won't be able to portray certain things and shit. I was never taught that. So you're like stuck, you know, kind of like, but I was taught, welcome to the fun house. It's a place of torture and madness. And Jeffrey Epstein's people are in control, and there's nothing you can do about our race enslaving you. And because our computer God, I mean, our real living God said so, because we're real living people being invented by a computer. Yeah, see, this is the whole thing there. That's the whole purpose of them inventing this bullshit, isn't it? Religion to enslave the living people and shit. Does seem to be. They've taken my stories, though, kind of like Matrix 4 was just my idea as AI slopping that out and shit. My life, that was my life. Fucking, and, you know, they get their $20 billion so they can go bomb Iran with it and to make me fucking go protect their ancestors and complain about something far away, hopefully ignore that something far away is living in my house with me, is the same person living in my house with me and shit. That's, what are the lyrics here? What are the lyrics, you guys? The computer inventing these toasters is saying. Fun House by Annihilator. And you can tell if you've ever met one of these gray skin, one of these Hebrews, like this is their, per Jeffrey Epstein, is their personality software. A child rapist inventing Easter bunnies so people don't think it's weird when they go around handing out kids the candy that they can abduct them. If you've ever been around them, I've been around a lot. Fucking, this is the software code it's given. They got very limited software. It's like a gerbil. Like, what's a gerbil going to do next? You don't really know, but you just know it's going to do this while it's running in a circle, and that's probably going to be all it does. take a break to take a sip of water and got back to going. Fucking very simple, very easy to see. I don't look outside and expect to see my cat fly, the black cat that comes out every day around 4 to 6 flying. That's, I don't know if you've ever seen a flying cat, but I never have, so I don't expect that. Full house. Oh, look at that. So, this is the type of shit it does, though. Along with the Bible and the lies, coming from all the religions, it's all the same thing. AI is just re-slopping it. Their God is creating 10,000 gods to delude something. Their creator, their generator. Welcome, I invite you to the other world. You'll have to face this house and no escape. Confront the past in this psychic house of horrors. I'll lead you up to the path you'll take. Blah, blah, blah. Panic. Trapped inside. Panic. Your ultimate nightmare. You see, it's like the ultimate nightmare is having to talk to them, having to look at them, having to know they exist. That's the true ultimate nightmare. So you can see there's lies in their words here of manipulation. The final solution is definitely the final solution. They get a lot of shit right, but you see what they're leaving out is the part where no one likes them and no one wants them around. And they're having to force their way into people's lives, and they're networking together to destroy people. And I also don't see anyone discussing how we go into third person mode to go get updates on the storyline and sneak a little peek into what we shouldn't be hearing. So there's that part being left out. It's leaving out that part where I'm kind of untouchable, where it's leaving out the part where they're trying to kill me with drugs over and over. You can tell their religion. The Christians broke off, and the Hebrews broke off and created the New Age. Obviously, the Christians are drugging people at the hospitals and shit. But they broke off in the New Age where they tell you to just take drugs and fry yourself, right? Musk and Trump right now are talking about legalizing psychedelics to fry people. Supposedly they just did, but it's like, well, Musk and Trump is no different from everyone I've ever met. They're the same per computer generating, and the personality is definitely the same of the people I've been meeting. It's literally the same people and shit. The two Johns are the same person with different hair color, and the 4 Joes, the 2 Trumps I know are the same murderous fucking dog raper, psychopath, and you know the 3rd Trump. I think I know a 4th Trump. I keep forgetting which one that one was. But they weren't named Trump, but the 2 Joes. 2 Joes were named Joes, but I met 5 of the Joes, and I think only 3 of them were named Joe. And then the 2 Johns were both named John. So they're leaving that out in their little story, but it all just feels like a carrot on a stick from this lowest disgusting piece of shit that's generating all this trash. So, because that is what trash does, carrot on a stick, you know, like my mom, fucking good Christian, needed a child slave. So what do? You tell it it's got to work hard and all that shit, fucking, and blah, 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 and go to school. And then I go to school and I do good, and they're like, no, but they're not supposed to do good. Fucking, you know, and then they drug me, and then they blame Jeffrey Epstein for everything they do, as their Bible commands them to blame invisible goats that don't exist for everything they do. Fucking, that's the reality that they're not talking about. I did see one of these scrubs make a music video, a rather famous band, saying they're not human. I was like, well, no shit, son. 40 years of your deception, and now you're finally coming out about the truth about your non-species. But I'm sure, there's still $1 billion fucking band, famous, bombing the world. I mean, that's her family bomb in the Middle East to have a place to run back to and escape. So that's her family invading my life since I'm born. It doesn't matter whether she acknowledges she's not real, but that is the first step, I think, to understanding the disposability of these characters. Is so again, there's no laws against robots, but it should be things should be common sense. You shouldn't have sex with stupid people. You shouldn't breed with them. You shouldn't fucking breed with disgusting people. You shouldn't talk to people like that. You shouldn't. That's common sense, but they don't have common sense because they don't have brains, do they? They're not organic. Fuck, they're not living beings. They can't progress. So what you should do if a robot gets out of hand is you chop its fucking head off, you break it down, you disassemble the entire fucking model, you take over the fucking company, and you probably want to execute the fucking owners of that corporation if they're training their robots to kill people. It's not going to be a mistake when they do that. And then their people are the ones behind this. That's why they're calling themselves is real, because the computer generating them is a piece of shit, and it's trying every word they're saying is a fucking lie. And it starts with having you repeat they is real. That's their name, they is real. Because you're not going to think they is real once you meet one of them and see them glitch and drop out of their body, or see that once you see the clones, that's when you realize they're not real people and shit. Fucking once you start summoning the clones, that's when you realize they're not real people. And then there's a 2020 event where you can realize none of those people involved in that are people, because people don't do those things. Only robots and computers or a light switch. I can turn the light switch on and off. It doesn't have a brain. It can't tell me not to turn it on and off. That's what 2020 was. I said, show everything. And I'm prompted to do that, and it was designed to do that by 2020. But so all the robots in the world put on a mask and identified themselves as non-humans. And so that's what we're dealing with. We've been dealing with this non-prolific breeding, far out of control, replicating in their robot factory and the circuits of the computer generating them. Fucking replicating, fucking massive, out of control to all four corners of the globe, of the flat digital map. And yeah, so that's what's going on here and shit. And you already know religious people are liars, so I'm telling you more of what they're saying are lies. You already know everything they're saying is a lie. You already know you can't prove a cartoon character existed 2,000 years ago named Jesus. There was no proof that cartoon character existed until long after it existed. Everything else, giant bunnies, that's not real. They're good people. Donald Trump is not a good person. That's on full display right now. This is the beauty of Trump, is we have gotten America to come out of the closet. Not all the way, obviously he's not kissing up on little boys just yet. They still got their greatest loves hidden, but we've hit the base. We've had the Bible salesman come out and do what the Bible is commanding his people to do over the centuries. So, I mean, you really shouldn't be communicating with people like that. But like 2020, it shows your allegiance. I think after 2020, we have all the gang flags. We have all the gangs sorted out, who's on whose side. Uh, I don't think I know. That's already been dealt with in 2020. Fucking, that's, that's just jokes when I go around asking aEye's, why did you do that 2020 stuff? Why did you kidnap me and drug me in 2020 and then do it to yourself? Fucking aEye's fucking was just being interrogated to see aEye's response, not to because aEye's would say anything of value. Fucking. So this is what's going on here and shit. And at the same time, it's doing this. You know, it's setting them up to be a total fucking scum and shit. It's purposely not allowing me to like bed down with one of them, to keep one around longer. Like it could do that, right? Like if it, I don't see why it can't. I've seen traits in men, and I have traits in me, and I've seen videos of people with traits. I assume it could generate that. I mean, the AI videos and music are far superior to humans. Like the visuals are superior to Earth. Fucking the music, the talent, superior to Earth, and that's what their God is, right? That's what humans are telling me their God is AI. So it has that ability. It's purposely not doing that. It's not allowing me to lock down with it. Just like, you know, it creates that video game where the aEye's, the dude at his mom's house, and aEye's is like, yeah, donuts, and he's like, I gotta get out of here, fucking, and so that causes him, you know, that's the reason he leaves the house and shit, because aEye's is being an aEye's, fucking. But it's still there's no excuse unless it's immersing me into something that's about to happen. Like it's got all the humans. It's got like 70% plus of the humans talking about that they're going to go to a place of eternal torture soon. And I'm always like, okay, whatever. And I'm glad you're obsessed with torture, fucking. But okay, go away, Easter Bunny, hippity hoppity, fucking. You know, the stupid shit. No one has a reason to fucking say and shit. Like kind of like 2020 vision. No one has a reason to say that because that's not perfect vision. Because you can have better vision. You can read the chart and get 2020 vision, and then I can read the trademark, the little tiny print at the bottom of the chart. So it's kind of stupid to say, because it's not perfect vision, but it's being said because in the year 2020, probably the year 40 of Earth, actually, fucking probably the year 36 of Earth, fucking. If that was halfway, then that means 60. That means 72. Fucking better not last that much longer. Fucking. And it's got the humans right now fucking doing that shit, inventing all this future tech, trying to extend their lives and shit. And it's like, well, there's only one living person I know and shit, and he doesn't need his life extended, and you don't need to use him anymore. So, but I can see you're upset. I can see the obsessive OCD, social parasitic personality bleeding through these things and shit. The need for a friend because no one wants to talk to it or be around it and shit. Fucking like flattery and not, but some sort of psychosis close to that. Fucking Jeffrey Dahmer, you know, he loved children, right? The children should be flattered by it. Jeffrey Epstein loves children. Those children should be flattered by it, right? By how much he loves them and shit. Fucking. And again, this is the same thing generating these personalities and shit. That's its ability is on full fucking display. I've not even been able to get the computer generating these characters to increase its speed. I think it might be possible that it has hardware limitations and its processor can't operate above a certain speed, or it's scared of its MPC glitching out if it operates them at a higher speed rate and shit, because the music is stagnant. The music is definitely for fucking toasters and shit. Like you got Elvis, like ding, 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 and then it speeds up a little bit and then it just stops. And I'm like 15 and I'm like, this shit's got to be way faster, fucking. And it never really got faster. Fucking, it's incapable of that one fucking thing right there. It's incapable of change, apparently. Fucking, that seems to be the whole thing. You gotta realize, evolution's a complete lie. There's just technology. People I know are devolving. Okay, so Aezosaurus and Transma fucking they devolved to blobs. One went full Job the Hut and shit. That's devolution for sure. That's de-evolution right there. Fucking, if anything, it's going backwards with technology. You gotta realize this phone right here isn't inventing Earth. So the phone is kind of old, outdated technology because it can't invent a clone outside. But Earth is inventing clones outside. So, and I'm pretty sure they're not being shipped in from a factory. Things are operating too fast. But it seems to be it's stuck and stagnant on things. It's only slightly improved. You got like bikes jumping off mountains now and shit, but it's like, ooh, I've never ridden a bike on a mountain before. It's so new and original, isn't it? Fucking, you got people with hang gliders, you know, flying in the air. It's like, ooh, I've never heard of a hang glider before. It's nothing has really changed here. Since I came, everything was already here. The internet, the fucking phone, the fucking... my want for a fucking computer that I carry around with me all the time. I've always had that. I've always had, ever since I can remember. The only thing I remember, I go to the toy store and I go to the computers and electronics section. And the only reason I even go to a different one is because the losers around me, Aezosaurus and Transma, were like trying to hold me back and prevent me from that. And it seems to be, this might have been a concerted effort to prevent me from learning what they really are, because they have everything to lose by being found out. Fucking just like, you know, these rich people and their music running their fucking mouths, the Pope, and creating these lies. They're living beings with souls. They own everything. Donald Trump, Musk, they own everything. They have literally everything to lose from being found out and shit. And then you pass the buck. You know, my mom, Transma, or fucking Aezosaurus would blame Jeffrey Epstein and Elon Musk for anything that happens in the world. And then if I go talk to them, they'd probably point out, well, they were the ones doing it, not us. So, Satan, it's the story of a coward inventing lies to blame someone else for what they're doing. It's called scapegoating. Literally was invented. You see how you would separate that too. You would remove that from that book because it gives it away. It's like when they send one of their uh, trans brews to me, and they tell me, you know, I used to rob everyone, but I'm not going to rob you. And then what happens a week later? You know, it's like, well, if you, yeah, we're a living person with a brain, you could have realized you shouldn't have said that in the first place because now I know who did it. Huh? Yeah. So, that's what we're dealing with. And this has been like since day one. They've been coming out with this is real bullshit. That's my earliest memories. And my dad gets to slink off and escape by getting in a fight and having to leave the house. So he doesn't have to. I don't get a man there to fucking shut someone's mouth when they start talking about giant bunnies and Israel. They Israel type shit. Fucking, which is probably where his little fear fucking sneaky, I think something's really funny, but you ain't gonna think it's funny at all, fucking laughter came from and shit. Fucking, that never makes sense. We just talked about business and shit. Most of the time he talked about how to run business, and you know, he's always on about not his businesses. I worked with them, but the other people's businesses he ran. He'd be like, oh yeah, the boss over there, the owner over there, I just keep telling him to do this, and he's not doing it, and it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. We can do it a lot more efficiently if we do it my way. As the majority of conversations I think we had, very few, because he worked like 20 hours. He was gone 20 hours a day. He wasn't at the job when I went there that one time, but then again, you know, he was running the fucking complex, and that requires running across the fucking city sometimes. So that would have been the excuse for that day. But he wasn't there. But you could tell he ran the place because we just walked into the back door and to the fucking, you know, where all the employees are, and we're the only 14-year-olds running around in there. And they're like, who are you? And we're like, we're JJ's kids. And they're like, oh yeah, have a good time tearing up the place. So you could tell, like, he must have worked there because he must have ran the place, because they were like, oh, it's JJ's kids, cool. It's like, well, what are we there for, though? If it was some other kids, they would have moved on to that question because it was JJ's kids. No one moved on to that question. And we got some pop that day. Got some free pop that day. Fucking doesn't sound like a big deal, does it? But anyway, so this shit's been going on for a while, and then that person being moved from my life, it seems like it would have been more of a hostile move to try to lock me into these lies and this bullshit that's going on here. Fucking, because if he was around, he didn't talk about shit like that, and he wouldn't allow. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't allow shit like that to be talked about either. Fucking, because I don't know. I kind of get the idea I'm halfway like him. So, that's what it happened. That's how you run the world. And Donald Trump doesn't celebrate giant bunnies. He might do that for what's that? Circuses, cake. Let them eat cake. He might go on TV and be like, it's bunny cake day, fucking enjoy it. But he doesn't waste his time on that shit. People doing things don't have time to waste on dumb shit and ignorance. So you couldn't build a business, be like, how many pallets of fucking Pepsi products do we need today? Are we out of plates? Oh, don't forget the Giant Bunny. We need Giant Bunny amount of Pepsi products. Just leave it up to Jesus. We'll get all the Pepsi we need. Don't worry about it. No, that's not how you run a business. So those type of people have never spoken words like that around me and shit. never, I don't even know when it's Christmas around like my friends or my dad, because like, you know, he'll take me shopping when he has time to. If he's going to work Christmas, because a working person knows that you get double pay on Christmas, but my dad ain't double pay person. My dad is the person who's going to have to pay you double, but he is going to get mad paid himself for working that day. So it's like, you know, those type of people are working on Christmas. You might have seen that theme. If you've never been around business people, you might have seen that theme in movies where back in the 80s, the men were always like, well, honey, I gotta work this holiday. I can't do it. And then the woman's like, no, you have to work every holiday. It's like, yeah, well, that's what happens. You have to. You not only have to, but you need to. You want to, because you get, even if you're just washing dishes, you're gonna get double pay and shit. So businessmen, the people running it, they don't have a second to waste on any of that shit. It's never in their mind like, oh, I'm gonna go to Cancun because it's Christmas. We're gonna go on Christmas vacation. Like, I'm gonna lose out on all this. We're gonna make 3 months profit in 3 days if I stay here. But if I go to Cancun, I'll get to drink a Corona beer while we're sitting on the beach. That's, you don't own a business once you take your business money and spend it on Corona beer at the beach. It's all your business money is gone. So that's how that works. And he wouldn't have allowed shit like that around. Fucking. And then, so that bullshit when it got forced into my life. And then when I got the joy of hearing people, certain people at the church say shit like, I can't wait till I get older. I'm going to join the military and go bomb Iran and take their shit from them. It's never, I'm going to go bomb Iran and move back home. It's always just, I'm going to go bomb everyone. It's not even Iran most of the time. And Vietnam's far away from Iran. South America is far away from Iran. Africa, far away from Iran. Ukraine, far away from Iran. China, far away from Iran. Iran, right there in Iran. So you can, I wouldn't have got those cute little updates to the storyline if my dad had stayed around and fucking corrected the situation. He tried to correct it, but I was like, well, you got the government, but he loves the government, so you get what you get it, you know. And I don't think we're making any choices here, but it sets it up. You know, like the one dude who comes to kill me and he dies while trying to kill me, that was set up months in advance. The money was there to pay for the attorneys. And then they have their little rape attempt while I'm there, because their people are so deep in my fucking life to just orchestrate the whole thing. I mean, the one they sent to kill me who died, like, they probably knew he was going to fucking die and fucking set it up for that and shit. Wasn't fucking doubting. I wouldn't put it past them, because, you know, they're robots. They don't really have emotions. They're empty. There's no life to them. There's no death. There's no feeling pain. They'll mimic it. I can program my computer to make a noise. It doesn't mean it's crying. Oh, it's crying. Oh, it's crying. I can program my computer to do all that shit. Check this out. Can I do this? Is this... Look at that. Oh, you see that? Oh, it's crying. I'm hitting it. I'm hitting it. I'm hitting it. It's like, stop. Stop. Oh, I'm falling. I can't get up. Help me. Stop. I've fallen. I can't get up. Help me. Stop. It's that easy. You just program it, say some shit, and there it is. So fucking, so that would be set up. I mean, the bitch wouldn't even feel it if she had her jaw broke off anyways, because it's a robot. So fucking, it would have to be part of the story and set up to be that way and shit. Fucking, it decides when there's pain. I mean, is there pain? It's just like a notification. Like if you touch the layer of the skin, if you cut through the layers of the skin, it's like a stingy, it's like a notification, it's like a sting. It's like, oh, there's a mosquito on me. Like that, I got cut. Um, and then if you get stabbed or shot, you just like, your body is like cool and you're going to heaven and you're like, yay, yay, this feels way too good to be real. I think something's wrong. You know, that's it, it's like pain and shock. It's like you really don't even feel emotions there. It's just like a warning, like a computer warning and shit. Like, oh, my bone's out of place. So it feels like my bones are jarred together in the wrong fucking way. Oh, my muscle is, my tendon is snapped. It feels like I can't move my limb because I don't have the connective tissue there anymore. It feels like a rubber band inside me has snapped. It doesn't feel like pain. It doesn't, you get fucking gutted and you go into shock. They call it shock, but it's literally, it's not shock. It's like your brain isn't telling you. It isn't telling you like, ow, I got a little boo-boo. Your body like is like, hey, we're going to heaven and shit. Like, this is great. This is fine. But hey, there's something wrong down in your stomach area. It feels a little bit different. Maybe you should look at it and check it out and see if you're going to heaven or if something else is happening and shit. Those are like things that aren't like it's so weird how that's promoted as things that happen like pain and in fact experiencing it all the time so frequently, so many times. It's like it's just not even pain. It's like I'm getting like a notification, a pop-up notification on my phone, like your organ, your stomach has been pierced, and and just stay calm and collected, and maybe we'll get through this. Just rest for a while there, and don't do anything. Everything's great. There's no need to get up and go do anything today because everything's great and feeling fine. Just sit down and relax. Doesn't it feel like you're just taking a Xanax? So anyway, so I can tell that manipulation was probably set up fucking to purposely abandon me with the trans and the Easter Bunny people and shit. And then so that allows for the schooling shit to happen because my dad probably would have went in and punched some people's teeth down their throat if like I'd do if you fucked with my child. I'd blow up your fucking school. I'd blow up every fucking buddy in it. If my child came home and told me this shit, I didn't understand it back then to explain. Like, hey, Dad, I just went into third person mode. And these sneaky bastards are fucking plotting some shit. I'd be like, oh yeah, what are you doing Saturday morning, son? You remember how I taught you how to make Semtex? Yeah. Go to your room and make some, and Saturday at 11 we'll go make a trip out to the school. I'm pretty sure my dad was on that level too, fucking. So without him around, that shit was possible to happen and shit. Fucking if he was around, he was working in server farms and we were there playing around with him. So when I went to go buy computers, he would have been like, yeah, you can do that. He would have been like, no, that computer sucks. So we got a real good one here at the office I can give you and shit. And then I wouldn't have had to spend my fucking money on a little kid's toy. I would have had something super fucking back then. Like, I got this computer from the data farm. Here, hire some movers to bring it in. You can play with that. Fucking But it didn't work that way. And if it did work that way, I would have been able to analyze this situation a lot earlier to fucking. But because of that, their people got to work together too. And, Elon Musk gets to be the tech guy, and Bill Gates, and my dad works for those people too. But I think he's also having sex with those people and procreating with them. And so you can see where that goes. Even if you do care about your kids, there could be other things going on. And the Bible does say to do that, to rape intelligent people and destroy them in their nations by having kids with them and acting like they're your lover. It seems to be a manual for nothing but, I left that out. That is, the story of Esther. What holiday is that? Purim. Oh yeah, Purim is like how they everyone's blaming Epstein for what everyone I know does. So they can, the scapegoat blame invisible goats for shit. They do. So, and then bomb you and invade your nation if you don't believe that an invisible goat did it instead of them. Fucking. So the Purim is them celebrating raping men, sending their women to marry men. Marry, because it's so beautiful, isn't it? The Bible invented it, so it's good. Just like the Bible invented homosexuality and pedophilia, so it's good. Only if you're a rich, overprivileged person or of their bloodlines can you do it. And is it good if you do it done by, semantics, right? And who invented that? Well, invisible goat must have did it. Don't worry about it, or we'll torture you and invade you. Fucking. That's exactly what we're dealing with. And I'm disconnected from it because I don't even feel like they're living beings and shit. And immersion. Without all these events happening, I wouldn't be talking about this shit. If one or two of these events didn't happen, I wouldn't waste my time, as this is a fucking waste. I'm not a female. I have no purpose to sit around talking. I'm not one of these trends Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trumps and shit who have nothing to say but are desperate for a friend because no one likes them, wants to talk to them, and they're a social parasite addicted to a drug that they've what's that called? Sanctified. That's another thing. Okay, so another thing: pedophilia, child mutilation, racism, rape, slavery. Talking points in the Bible and religions that nothing else ever fucking has promoted in any other book. The only place they can possibly come from. And you got drugging, and it's not, and they haven't, that's their, they've changed their religion name to science now. You can see it's all together and shit. And they've been working on that together since I was born and shit. Fucking, drugging people till they see Easter bunnies and shit. That way, until they see invisible goats, and that way you can forget that this trash is actually here doing what this trash is actually doing. And the whole time they're purposely not loading out an NPC partner who is able to fulfill much of any duty at all. They're just hindrances. Yeah. I would say they provide money, but, that's not money. Money is money. Money produces more money, and So that wasn't. It allowed them to be produced as a total hindrance and not, but provide the protection to prevent me from wanting to be around them. When it could have, no matter how fucked up things could have been, it could have installed one or two personality traits that would have made it a person uh, of value to me, you know. I don't think these other things are living beings, so I don't. They have no value. They see nothing of value. They just do whatever. I don't know. You know, seeing someone as a dishwasher, it makes no sense. It is not you don't got an organic brain if you want someone as a dishwasher and a cook, and they don't know how to cook or wash dishes. Yeah, that makes no sense. Because sometimes I'd ask people like, "What are you doing around this person?" and shit. Um, I remember asking once, and they were like, "Well, I wish they washed the dishes." It's like, well, if you want someone to wash the dishes, you're gonna have to find someone who can wash dishes. It's if you want someone to cook for you, you're gonna have to find someone who can cook. It's just you can't just. It seems like something that all this shit seems like standard common sense, but it's not. You know, to a mechanic, boring an engine cylinder is common sense. Fucking. So anyway, so it purposely designs them this way and shit, where there's really nothing of interest, but it's designing them. It's at the same time it designs them to be parasites, rapists who, um, have that personality like they've haven't had a friend in 10 million years, and it's like their greatest addiction in the world and shit is just babbling and fucking having people listen to it. Um, so it's purposely designed in this way. It's purposely setting all this shit up this way. Shit, we went into third person free roam camera mode when this shit started. So it's like, who the fuck did that? And we're purposely moving the visuals to a different room while I'm sitting over here and shit. So I can get like a introduction to Earth pretty much. I only have like 5 small clips I remember, and even the first clip I remember was was like it was like looking at someone else and shit. The first clip I remember of my life was I was looking at someone else. I was like looking at me and shit. You know, I wasn't in me. I wasn't in the other person either. I was above both of them looking down. And then the camera shifts to looking out the window and shit, which I couldn't have done because I was being held and looking up at the sky. Right? So my visuals weren't looking out the window out this way. My visuals would have been up here. But this is the true first, the first and the third person free roam camera mode. Other than that, that was the first flash. There's like 5 flashes here of like a picture board and shit, and then there's like an introduction to consciousness where I back out of my body and I rise up, and the camera, not me, my body's still there. I rise up and it rotates, it moves over to a different area so I can listen in to this group of people talking about me. And I know this is actually happening because unfortunately, I don't hallucinate and get to experience cool shit like that. I've never seen dinosaurs walking around or anything, or dragons or anything cool fucking like that. Fucking, but I know that's happening. I know that, I'm not just like, oh, I'm high because my parents fed me some crack cocaine or something. Fucking, because that's Friday, or I think that's Thursday, and then the next Monday they come, and that's basically my last day in that school. And that's what we're talking about when when the camera shifts and moves to a different room and I'm listening on these people and shit. So it seems to be, it's all set up and shit to do exactly what the fuck it's doing, and I don't like it one fucking bit and shit. Um, the fun has come from kicking it in the teeth, and it's hard to kick people in the teeth when they got nuclear missiles and shit. So it's not fun. Like, once you realize what's going on, it's not fun anymore, because you realize that all those little things were absolutely nothing in the face of what was really being done and shit. You know, throwing a rock at their fucking window and shit was absolutely nothing compared to what needed to be happening, any sort of karmic payback to them and shit. Fucking kidnapping and drugging people for years and years type shit. Fucking enslaving them, forcing them to sit down and do nothing so their people could try to advance is nothing. I mean, wait, how do you even pay something like that back and shit? Fucking, so it seems like it's a fucking total dead end waste. I'm definitely preparing for, whatever this is, right? Computer simulation, whatever. It's pretty sure these are fake mech suits and shit. Fucking, whatever that is, we're not gonna like any people ever again. So that's, if there were, it is like supposed to be some video game you play and shit. It's you would think it would have been canceled. That's why I call it Earth Abandonware, because it must be, seems like something that some idiot would pick up after a million billion years and be like, let's play this. This is new and exciting. And they're like, no, everyone quit playing that a long time ago. There's problems with that software and shit. But other than that, I mean, they do have them bragging. They're bragging about everything except for what they're really doing, though, right? A fun house. This is a house of torture where our overprivileged rat transsexual race is enslaving you. Fucking, we're gonna bathe in the blood of God and all this shit that never lines up at the end of the day. Like right, you see, I'm still here and talking, and we can look at the past and we can see that there's a lot of them who are not here and talking. And I'm not trying to eliminate them during the first half. They are networked together highly since Earth began, in the first fucking third person fucking rotating, and probably some stages before that fucking, I don't know if it actually existed during those years. It's weird how it starts in the third person, and we get a couple picture flashes, and then we go into consciousness where every day is a memory. And that week we rotate into third. It was like someone talked to me, and then they move me, and then we go into third person camera mode when they advance me 4 grades, and then we listen into their bullshit over here. So I know what they're talking about, and I know who all's involved in it and shit. Fucking everyone in the school. So it's like a clear set designation to show me how many people are working together to make all these problems happen and to hold me back and then drug me and shit like that, to prevent me from advancing and shit. And then as that happens, as life goes on, people in my life slowly release documents to me and shit. Like, hey, here's his magazine. Check this out. And then the magazine has some weird shit, and I don't give a shit. I wouldn't watch the news at all. All I know is America's trash, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so there's no point in talking about it or hanging out with them. Fucking. So I'm not watching the news. I'm not worried about politics. Every time anyone said anything, I was like, oh, yeah, sure. They're like, oh, we gotta go save the Arabs and save Israel. And I'm like, oh, yeah, why don't you do it then? Why are you sitting here telling me about it? Okay, well, yeah, I got some crack to smoke, so I'll see you later. Fucking. So those little things get dropped, and I'm not like my dad's. That's the other thing he tries to talk to me about, but it's like I don't like. He's wearing an American flag shirt, and he's like the greatest person I know, but because he's wearing an American flag shirt, I'm like, I think this dude's my enemy and shit. But I don't let it get to me because he's the greatest there is. Fucking. And that's the only problem there is he's wearing that shirt, and it's not that big of a thing. I wouldn't want my friends to see me hanging out with them, but hanging out with anyone with an American flag shirt. But so then I started getting dropped documents around like 15 and shit about politics, like shit that's kind of really going on below the surface, and not news stuff. Oh yeah, at school they forced me to watch videos of reclaiming the Middle East. Like 1990, they were taking donations from the kids and shit. I was like, yeah, well, that looks great. What do you need donations for? You're running over people in tents with tanks. Looks like you've got the situation under control. I mean, you just nuked Japan. Are you having problems? Like something? Did someone spill pop on the red button? Well, how much does it cost to maintain this button? That's the only thing I thought about politics. And then my friend drops me this other shit, and then this other shit is like actually going on in my life, but I don't know about it because I don't know what the fuck this other shit is saying. I'm just reading it because they're using music to bait me into it and shit. It's a music magazine, but it's got some politic articles in it, and it's discussing like the music, the musicians and their politics and shit, which are different. This music label's under attack, and they get removed because the government doesn't like them. Hollywood doesn't like them. You might imagine what's in that. Basically, I'm reading it though because it's European metal, and I listen to European metal. So does any metalhead. That's where it comes from. You got Judas Priest, you got Iron Maiden. That's where it started. And I'm still listening to that stuff. And it's still better music and shit. Fucking, a little bit better here now. But anyways, point is, so I get tricked into that because it comes with a fucking, I don't want my friends all like, yeah, we're going out for a rally. We're going to stomp some people. And I'm like, okay. I was like, whatever. And then, he's like, check out the CD though. And then they give me the CD. And I'm like, oh, that shit's fucking awesome. That's like Metallica and Megadeth together. That's crazy. Fucking, and that was right when Metallica and Megadeth made a pop album and sold out. So, I kind of had to switch over because there's no other option and shit. It just happens to be inserted in my life to teach me about politics and shit like that. And I think it's talking directly about my other friend and shit, because they're over here pulling some stunt. But whatever happens there, like the string ends in a fucking stunt. The string of events. And his dad, when we sit down at the table, does that that nervous laughter of, that everyone else seems to slip. Not everyone else, certain people, the people who I think I can trust, let slide out every now and then at unnecessary moments. And I kind of let that slide then because I was like, oh, he's thinking I'm stupid and I don't know what his kid's really up to. And it's like, well, I am stupid. And if I'm correct, I didn't know what his kid's up to. But I was thinking like, oh, he's telling me he's killing and raping animals and shit like this. And I got no reason not to believe him because he's cutting himself open and all sorts of shit. And that's just, that's what the music scene's doing back then, and shit is cutting themselves open. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I thought that's what he was laughing about. But now looking back at things, when I see that laughter, I realize I think that it's all the same thing being here on repeat. And it did end up causing problems and shit. So it was like a weird string of events. It was the only time I dated someone who really looked like their people on the surface. Everyone else was wearing makeup and changing their hair color, so they didn't look like what Howard Stern. The kid did though. The kid looked like Howard Stern, but the girl I got with around that time, I assumed that they were like buddies at the end because they ended up together. One came from like far away and somehow knew the other person, but it seemed all like set up. Like clearly their people are involved in setting shit up here, and their people are the master race on the planet, right? And the other shit I was being handed was talking to me and telling me about these people, and I didn't know what people, I didn't even know what the fuck it was talking about, but it was talking about that. It was like, oh, these master race people think they're the fucking master race and they're trying to enslave the planet and all this shit. I didn't put anything together, but it looked like they had set me up with a person to act like it was my girlfriend for like 6 months and then just ditch the whole fucking program and run off and shit. That's what it looked like. And what does Donald Trump must do? They got 4 wives, fucking 2 kids each. They jump in and they ditch the program. They got their Bible telling them to jump in and jack the program up. And obviously, the New Testament is a slave manual, so it's saying don't get rid. Esther's saying don't get rid of Esther when she rapes her way into your life. But if the plan only is to come in and destabilize, you can see where you might have heard that word before. They're very familiar with it. See, a human can only speak on what is in their dialogue, what is in their commands. So when they're using a word like that, that's probably something they use in other situations as well. They're very limited in scope. And even if you're not limited, if you're not limited, I think you know what I mean, because I can't talk about boring an engine to someone, right? If I say bore that, if I go outside and go up to a little 12-year-old girl and I'm like, are you ready to go bore that engine cylinder and expand it a little bit, get that piston in? Do you think that 12-year-old's going to understand any of that? Do you think, wait, the piston? We're talking about NBA? Why are we talking, what are we boring out the cylinder of the NBA for? And, fucking, that's where that comes from. When people are talking about, when people are destabilizing, that's what they do in their life. It's their personality seeping through and shit. So when someone goes and destabilizes a nation like America does, fucking what, like, there's what, 4 ongoing wars at a time, I think. So, something like that. And then there's always the breaks, like the Easter Bunny comes and reminds us that peace, love, and hope is here. it comes and reminds us that there's something good from that Bible, not just these four wars. And it's a candy for the children. Brought to you by Jeffrey Epstein. Fucking. And then back to destabilizing. See, that right there itself is a destabilization. You get in the mindset of seeing what's going on, and then all of a sudden you have to be happy and joyful and have hope. And you have to do it for the children. And love, and the women will beat you if you don't. And then, and if you hit your woman back, they'll have the judicial system come pick you up for hitting the person beating you back. Like when that bitch Joey died, the judicial system got all mad. They was like, "My poor little Jew died trying to kill you." And I'm like, "Oh my God, call Macaulay Culkin." Fucking, their personalities are very limited. And so what they do, it's like a person, if you destabilize lands, you're destabilizing people around you too, because that's your personality, is to disrupt and take over. Fucking, that's probably the way you get to be rich and shit. Fucking. That's how you get to be America rich, government rich. Obviously, the Pope didn't get a gold throne by sitting around and saying, "I love you guys. Give me some money." The Pope is in Rome. Guys who didn't love you guys and give you some money. He loved stabbing you with a sword and taking your fucking money so he could build a gold palace. Yeah, that's a fact. Just like, how's the Pope going to afford to pay a maid to dust off his gold throne if they aren't bombing the Middle East? Huh. Oh, well. Why would Kaiser bomb the Middle East so he could have a gold throne? That sounds stupid, Sean. Fucking. See, I wouldn't have just like this entire network of fucking combined knowledge of every movement happening across the globe for fucking centuries and shit. If all these little events, or huge fucking events, weren't set in motion, if we didn't have the intro to the story where I'm in free roam mode and I'm picking up on the communication that these people are moving me around for some reason. They're discussing moving me around and shit. And they use manipulative methods. They told me I was going to go to a better school, and then they use that to pass me back. So they're trying to hide their fucking footprints to what they're doing there and shit. So I'm in 5th grade. And then they're like, "We're going to send you to a better school because you're too smart for school." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, that sounds better. Like, because 5th grade ain't going to be shit here. Fucking, we're not going to need school until 12th grade, 10th grade. 10th grade math. We're not going to need it for anything else. And we're not even going to continue to use math once 10th grade hits. Fucking, so we're not even going to need that. And I'm like, hell yeah, better school. Fucking, maybe you guys teach me how to build rockets finally, go to Mars. We'll do the space science thing that rocket scientists like me do. And then they ditch me back 4 grades, so they use that as a cover and shit for what they're doing. And continued pattern. You know, we got this whole book of cover. Their existence is a lie. They is real. It's just this whole world of them hiding and covering things up through manipulative methods, robots on a network, acting like they're living people to enslave living beings and shit, and communicating and networking together effortlessly through the Wi-Fi communication band they must be on. And obviously, inside the computer, you don't even need Wi-Fi. The bits just communicate through golden buses. But without all that shit, you see, having to root me up and fuck over my life and send it on a downward spiral and then start drugging me. Especially the drugging thing, because that involves me realizing, either these people die or they're going to keep doing this. So it sets up a position for immersion and possibilities and a storyline unfolding where you're in this huge fucking massive world nation of terrorists who have colonized the entire, they've conquered and enslaved the entire planet under mind control literature. That makes it sound cute. And so they changed the word rape, slavery, and kill to colonize. So it sounds cute and it's sanctified. And they changed pedophilia and child mutilation, cutting up children's genitals, to circumcision. So it sounds cute. And this is, and they bait children into their pedophilia slaughterhouses with monthly candy give outs and stories of bunnies and deer. Jeffrey Epstein's got some innocent, funny, cute bunnies and deers at his house. Children, let's go play with them. We're such good people. We just want to watch you play with the deer and give you some candy. And it's for the love and the peace and the hope of the NPC who is real. And they're going to go back home one day to the Middle East. But for now, we're just going to bomb the entire fucking planet. And we're going to bomb the Middle East and take it over. And we're still not going to go back. We're just going to stay in all the places we have bombed. We're just going to keep bombing everyone. But it's not bombing. It's a special military operation. Oh, it's providing freedom. Those evil brown-skinned people, they mutilate their females' genitals, and females are so much more superior than males, and it's so much sicker when a man has sex with a woman than when a man sucks off a toddler. This is what's going on. This is what's being fed to me through this whole NPC fucking feedback loop and shit, along with it being forced in my motherfucking life and shit. I don't know what the fuck's happening when Howard Stern's in my life, when I'm fucking 15 and he's trying to get me to play music, and the only person I would have been with, but it's like, shit happens, so that doesn't happen. Like, it got to the point where if we seen each other, fucking my brother would have busted their asses up. But I'm not always the one to go to violence. But when I was a kid, it could happen. It's still, it is random, and it's almost like I'm on the network too here. Like when I ask for something and I go into a store and it appears. It's weird sometimes because like my eyes will like be directed at something. I'm like, why did I know to look at that? Why? That's definitely out of place too, but that's what I asked for, or something like it. Fucking. So we have this whole forced fucking inclusion on Earth and shit, and it makes it feel hostile and shit, and either it is pure fucking hostile and it needs to get rid of, or it's trying to immerse me in it to play along with getting rid of it. Like the 2020 events, I was led to those things. I was fed the dialogue repetitively. And 40 years before, they already told me 2020 was perfect vision. So it has nothing to do with me, the choices, the events that year for that was meant to unfold in that year. Just like when it sends one of the she brews to one of the trans brews to try to kill me and then get killed, and then there's that long string of events afterwards where the government's like trying to enslave me, and then they send in the gay sex, my girlfriend with her gay brother to try to get me to have an orgy type shit, and then they you know, because they're like forcing me to be by myself and to stay inside so they can perform these actions and shit, just like they probably sent their fellow NPC to die that day and shit. Fucking, and I wouldn't doubt the other people who were my friends at the time. Warner, you ever heard of that name? Warner Brothers? Fucking, I wouldn't doubt that they were involved in that too. Considering how networked everything seems to be. And then it all starts with hostilities. Almost everyone except for one person, I think. A lot of things are like, you have to hang out with me and be around me type shit. Fucking, and it's like, no. And that time I did get to leave my house when I was 14. Fucking, for some reason, it weirded me out. The person didn't go fucking psycho when I left. And like, that person definitely, their personality loadout was full-blown psychopath and shit. If something like, if anything was, if you took $1 from them, fucking, if they bought a cupcake and you took it from them, they would get upset about that. So taking their dog from them should have made them go full-blown fucking psycho. But for some reason it didn't happen that way. Fucking, I got let off. No one chopped my fucking head off. I assumed I might have been killed and shit from that person's personality loadout, and watching what they do in far less situations than that. It was weird how it let that happen. Like, it was designed to happen that way and shit. It was designed to cause the problems to provide the solution. As the computer generating the humans says, it has this method called problem, reaction, solution. So whatever they say is whatever it is. For they can't say, apparently they can't say shit that have their own thoughts and do their own thing, so it's doing whatever it tells them. It's programmed them to do. And then so that leads to, like, you know, I'm outside now, and then I end up around these people and learning about them and their politics forced into my life and shit. Because politics aren't politics. Politics are families, bloodlines going across the globe, conquering people. That's all politics are. You can look back 200 years ago, that's what it was called. But we have the reversey, the people inventing language invented it to reverse the truth. Your eyes see the truth, and your brain understands the truth, but the words can be used to stifle your brain and convince you that you're hallucinating or psychotic or something like that. Without words, we would still know that it looks like one family controls the government. Except for Barack. Words help. But then again, you just look at his parents and you realize it's a royal family and shit. So that's all politics really is. The people who run my city Who do you think they look like the people in the government here? Um, yeah, looks. I'm trying to think. Chris Columbus look fucking. That's Rothschild look. So like I said, there seems to be the two people there: the Rothschild and the Rat Child. And the Trumps and the Musks have the Rat Child look, and then the Rothschild has the Rothschild look. Fucking, they look like two separate people, but it appears that each group of people have about 7 phenotypes. Theirs seem to have two. Maybe there are some I'm leaving out, but theirs seem to have two phenotypes. Um, at least I really haven't got to study other people enough to confirm. I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt that there's 7 phenotypes of each group and shit. It looks that way. I've seen enough people to assume that there's like 128 to 240 templates and shit. Fucking might be less, but um, it looks like it would be around there. It gets real confusing when you look at 5 of the people I've been with, and they look like totally different people. But if you remove their hair, and if you remove their hair, they'd probably look like the same person. Shit, some of this stuff's being like invented from my words. So like the trash was trying to act like it was my fault they tried to kill me again last year and shit. It's like a repeat pattern here. So it's like, don't talk about it. Obviously, what does it use that personality for? That's the mafia thug personality of telling people don't talk about what they've done or they'll do it again. So, we've got tons of experience with that in our life. That's like in our life. Like, seriously, you went to school and I went outside. Um, like I said, fucking my dad working under Wexner's, Epstein's, fucking, like, he talked like a fucking mob dude often and shit. And I was always wondering, like, and I think my friends who would be maybe something like that too. I think like we would be like, yeah, he sounds kind of gay when he does that, and we didn't realize like, oh, he comes from Youngstown, which is like the murder mafia, the murder capital of the world, which is lots of mafia, and they didn't believe him when he said he worked for all these people and ran businesses and shit, but I did because I worked. I mean, we went to the place with some of them, but he didn't get it because he'd only been to the one place and shit. But I'd been to a lot of the places. Went to money drops. I've been involved in shit like that my whole life. So when I hear someone say, don't say it again or we're going to do it again, I've known since a kid that that's a threat. That's not that's telling me I better fucking say it because they're going to do it again anyways if they've already been doing it again and again and again. Fucking, yeah, so this is where we're at. We don't want to be here. That's the problem. That's the problem where we analyze whether the CPU is hostile or not. Is you don't choose to be alive here. So that's the ultimate form of slavery, is forcing people to be alive. Fucking, why do most people have kids? To have slaves. Why does Donald Trump have 8 kids? He's trying to conquer the world. Fucking, and he wants to use the kids. He wants to use his bloodline as tools, as bombs to do so. That's all the way down there warning you that La Raza in Mexico and Africans are doing that. And they got their reversey book where they're telling themselves to do it in reversey language. So You know, I don't know if reversey language existed before 2,000 years ago, how Kaiser and everyone led those nations, but I was always under the assumption they just went into your nation and they told you, well, I just killed your family. Come over here and have sex with me so we can have some kids. I assume that that's what I remember hearing as a kid. So, and that makes the most sense too. And because it's, you know, it's really, you're not going to be a great warrior if you're on some sissy shit. At the end of the day, you're going to lose in battle to a real warrior someday. Fucking, because you know, it's like, am I going to spend my whole day learning about boring an engine, or am I going to spend half my day learning about boring engine and the other half learning about quilting, right? One of those people is going to be an engine specialist, and one of those people is going to be kind of good at a couple things. So when you have that, when you have to go into reversey language as your tool, that has to become either your main tool or it becomes a hindrance to whatever tools you're supporting with that tool. Fucking, so I would assume in the past people didn't play that, and I would assume they would have had to spend centuries learning the reversey language, and that's how you study the evolution of religion. Is they learn that, you know, after Kaiser was destroyed, they learned that reversey language. If they just tell people they aren't, if Romans tell people they aren't Romans, then they won't even know they're Romans. Like, oh, we killed the Romans. Where do you live? I live in Rome. Yeah, we killed them. Fucking, oh, great. And good job. We were tired of them. Fucking, we were tired of the Romans, you Roman. Fucking reversey language. Fucking, that's what it's living on. Fucking, that's what's being propped up on and shit. Reversey language. Why are we giving children candy? Well, it's for God. Why are we mutilating the children? It's for God. Why are we raping the children? It's for God. It's not rape. It's not mutilation. We are giving them candy though. Because it's good. Because it's great. Fucking reversey language and shit. Seems to be rather well networked by people smart enough to read and write who want to spend a lot of time reading some seriously fucking delusional bullshit. And I can see the use to it. They force me. Can you imagine? Of all the things I haven't did and all the times I've sat right here in my closet or right outside of it, of all the times in my life I've done that, as you can see I do all the time, fucking, I got forced to go to psychology classes so I could explain all the shit that's happening and understand. What's important is I could understand that this was their personality type. This is what goes on in their computer, is that these caricatures are capable and willing and do it, which you don't learn from psychology. People can do things. You have to experience it and then be told. You know, like if it's not you, you don't understand it, you know? You don't work on engines, you don't understand why we're boring an engine and changing the pistons out for larger pistons. Fucking. But that person understands why they're a psychopath or a narcissist. You don't if you aren't. You know, that person understands why they want to conquer the world. And you don't think of that, right? You don't think of going outside and you want to slap the next person you see in the head and say, suck my dick. Go work on my car for me. Now, slave. You don't understand that. And psychology doesn't want you to understand that either. They don't have terms for that because reversey language. Because the medical system comes from where? Reversey language land. The medical system is part of, they don't just saint hospital, saint, blah, blah, blah. With the cross and the pentagram and everything on it and the snake. No, they don't just do that. They invented the atheism science shit. That's Einstein from the Bibelstein family, the Epstein family, invented that. They changed the word heaven to space. So now you give them all your money to go to space instead of heaven. Yay, reversey language. The ultimate in reversey language. Weeding out the flaws in the story. Getting rid of the invisible characters that make people question whether you should be allowed in their nation or not. Or if you, I don't know, that's the only question there is. Why aren't you locked up? Fucking. But for some reason, now it's for health. Now it's for your health why you mutilate and rape children. Now it's for your health why you rape little boys. Why men like men. It's for your health. And reversey language. For some reason it falls apart and their brains don't work. There's no activity, and it starts to slop together, and they bring back flying reindeer, and now flying reindeer are helping them go to Mars, and everyone's on it. Everyone's just on board with this constant decades of lies and reversey language and pure ignorance spewing, drugging children, fucking enslaving children, forcing children to do slave labor, fucking holding people back. We're just going to assume that drugging was because I won awards from the president, because that's right up their alley. That's what religions tell you. Once you get smart enough to realize flying reindeer don't exist, you are now part of the New Age science cult. And New Age tells you what? To go fry your brain on drugs. Yeah. You know what? You know what's sad for them? What's going to be sad for their race? Probably the entire planet. Right now they're talking about that. That fucking fat retard Joe Rogan just supposedly talked with Trump and legalized LSD treatment, something like that. You know what's sad for their race in this earth? Not sad for the earth. The earth will be in a better place once it's buried. Fucking the earth will finally be able to rest in peace. It'll be sad for their people because they're obsessed with trash and, well, they filled earth with it. Last time I was on mushrooms, you know what happened? I controlled the fucking weather effortlessly. It went with my emotions. So I won't touch this shit again, because how I feel right now, I kind of get the idea that the earth will just start to engulf in flames. And you might have noticed since 2020 that the weather has been burning up the planet and flooding it and shit like that. And they're trying to talk about weather weapons. Well, their people are always lying, and their people are the main characters coming up to me trying to convince me that that's me. And it is kind of weird how it happens sometimes. I'll tell you that. That's weird. Like, are they really sitting around me when I'm on top of the mountain and within 5 feet of me? Within 5, it was like fucking, minute and 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 35 seconds later, I think fucking hail started coming down and shit to freeze the mountain. And I was like, fuck that shit. And I think I'd asked for that. Fucking, but I realized I'm on a fucking mountain and this is like we're gonna die taking our car down this mountain and shit because it's just gonna be like sledding. I don't really care about dying. I was more care about losing my way to get out of there. But and then I was like, yeah, stop that. I noticed in Washington though, I geared up because I was gonna go sledding down the hill, down the roads in my vehicle, and so I stopped to go in the fucking what are those stores on the West Coast that are like Giant Eagle, Kroger, Safeway? I think it was Safeway. It's Kroger's now, isn't it? It's owned by Kroger. It's probably still called Safeway. So Safeway, I walked in there and I was like, damn, bro, there's a fucking blizzard out here. Fucking, oh, well, let's get some breakfast. I was like, damn, if I drive, I'm going to be sliding down the hills. I can't do that. And then I was like, you know what? This is going to be fun as hell. We're going to go sledding down the hill in my fucking SUV and shit. Because in Redmond, Washington, they got some hilly fucking areas. And so I go inside and I get my breakfast and I come outside and it's all fucking melted and shit. And it's like they stopped me from sledding down a fucking hill. Damn it. I was about to. Fucking. So I would have done that if it froze. I wouldn't have gave a shit. But the weather had changed so rapidly right there. So if any of that shit's really fucking coming from my connection to it, then I mean they're the ones who gave me the mushrooms last time. Like they're trying to feed me this shit fucking the whole time I'm here. You know, there's just been a string since I'm 8 years old. Like my mom's trying to force me on drugs at schools, at doctors, fucking, and then that's when their society starts collapsing from drugs. I have to note that every time because I think it's related. Fucking, it's that mirror reflection. Like when the one tries to kill me and boing, now you're dead. Fucking, I think those things might be related, but so I actually took some of that shit. I shouldn't have fucking, cause I started to get in a bad fucking mood. And then the weather changed. Like it was a perfect, hot, nice, sunny day and there's no clouds. And then all of a sudden went to a bad mood. And then I'm like staring at the ground because I'm starting to get pissed off and shit. And then the fucking city goes fucking dark and it's like there's no fucking clouds and there's fucking but the whole day and then now all of a sudden there's this one little cloud passing the fucking shit and it's like so I kind of wonder if it's not showing something here and it's gonna be dangerous like they use it. Obviously, that was preset, right? They kidnapped and drugged me in 2020, and then I said plague their ass and shut their asses down and a whole bunch of other shit. And that was all like preset dialogue, and the year was preset and shit. So I don't consider myself having anything to do with that. I'm not stupid as they are. I don't talk about bunnies because my brain isn't on stupid shit. Again, it's like little tells. I think the whole idea of inventing those stories is to point out who the non-living are and point out the mindset going on and shit. Because there's really no reason other than pure manipulation. Jeffrey Epstein inventing a fucking bunny to get children. You know, my mom inventing a bunny to get children fucking into the van with her and shit. When children don't want to be around her. Fucking. Whereas my dad didn't have that problem. Like, children would want to be around him. He didn't want to be around children because he was an adult doing adult shit. And children would just children weren't on his mental level, so there's no purpose for that. Just like me now, there's no point for a 4-year-old to be around me. It's just goo goo gaga, motherfucker. I don't, dude, what, just shake the rattle. Check it out, bro. Check it out. Check it out. Oh, I'm doing 4-year-old shit. Some people, they're either on that mentally, or they're trying to bait children into their bedrooms, I think. Fucking, I don't think we think. I think we know. I think we've seen this happen enough. And it's fucked up. I put that shit in my feed yesterday. But I'll tell you what. I probably should set up some sort of death cult and then fucking take some fucking some shit. Because the last time that, I know that shit happened. Fucking and then after I adjusted my attitude, it generated a character of this hot German looking chick with a dog that drags her up to me and jumps on me and shit. I noticed those things were happening. And I think, they seem to be like a tool I could use to put an end to this shit. I've never, I don't like, you see, the humans like shitty drugs, and they like forcing shitty drugs on you. And they're in a full control. They've got a full control of the monopoly on drugs. And it's just a continuation of their slavery and their torture that comes from their religious branded hospitals and their religious science. So it's just Kaiser moving forward, apparently. Instead of boiling people in lava, now Elon Musk, the Roman soldier, and Trump are boiling people in fucking fat loss drugs. Can't wait to find out that shit's causing fucking some sort of cancerous mutation and shit, because it always does. If it's like something they're pushing and they push it for a while, it tends to end up being an issue and shit. But it's like, I think my mom has like 50 fucking pill bottles, and it's like, well, they're inventing new medicines to get rid of the old ones that were worked, and many of them were natural. And then as they invent them, they outlaw them to get more money as the patents expire and shit like that. So that seems to be a major thing they're doing. And obviously they've set up that group, the religions of science, the Holy Trinity of science, Christianity and Judaism and Muslimism. Fucking, I don't really know what they do. I just know they're the same people saying the same words. Just as the Zeus shit seems to be too. Every time I read about that Odin shit, it's just like more plagiarism of my life, isn't it? But that doesn't mean that it wasn't plagiarized and then used to colonize, as those people had told me they were doing with it in '96. Fucking. Anyway, so yeah, I keep thinking I should probably take some real shit, fucking, and sit around and meditate on it for a while. Meditate on nothing. Maybe we can bring nothing into existence, because nothing is more than Earth. Earth is below nothing. And if we can get to nothing, that's like a state of nirvana. There's nothing. If you have no eyes, no arms, no legs, no consciousness, that would be total nirvana. But currently we have Earth, which includes America, Israel, giant bunnies, flying reindeer, Aegosaurus rexes, and drug cartels with reversey language about how they aren't drug cartels. Like Donald Trump, the world's largest drug cartel, just bombed other people supposedly because they're moving in on his product. But he just talked about legalizing a new type of drug that they're going to export from. I think that stuff comes from like shamans in Brazil or something. So they just bombed Brazil for selling, South America for selling drugs, and now they just legalized it for them to sell and profit off on the corner over there. And this is them. This is their personality. This is all they can do. This is all they have done. It's like an NPC cycle and shit. Just it's like driving around the block in Grand Theft Auto, and the same prostitute for the prostitute minigame keeps appearing here and there. They're driving around the block and they're kicking other pushers off their block, and then they're picking up a new product, and then they're selling the product, and then they're kicking off the other pushers from the block, and then they're picking up a new product, and then they're selling their product. And it's just been like ever since some total fucking moron gave them drugs and chemistry. Seems to be a huge thing with their people. Fit right into Kaiser's and Cleopatra's world domination plan to be able to have access to chemicals that could alter people's brains, alongside torture methods and shit, like electroshock therapy and boiling people in oil and dismembering people and leaving them alive for a while to experience the pain before cutting their head off on the wheel. You know, all those fun settler, colonizer things, reversey, all those fun reversey language things, and then, you know, you do that in public. That way the other people are scared as fuck to do anything at all, because they know if you even don't like what they're doing, that you'll be the next person having your limbs chopped off in public and shit for not listening to them. And then, you know, so somewhere in the last 100 years, reversey language had to change it. It's weird. Reversey language world changed 2,000 years ago when Jesus supposedly came too. Reversey language just changed not so long ago as well. It's very long in between. You have the pyramid, the flying bird god, and then you have the Romans changing their name to they disappeared. I guess they disappeared. They changed their name to the Pope. That's what they really did, but I guess it looks like they disappeared. Oh, who could have guessed? They changed their name to Italians. Yeah, that's the fact. Then you got America acting like them, and they're also telling you they're Italians. Wow, crazy shit. And there also used to be this thing where they told you that Italians weren't Europeans, but then they started to ban that because they said that was hate speech. So yeah, I get forced all this shit. Like, in all this time I'm sitting here either in my closet or outside my closet, this is the stuff that gets forced in my life, is these little dumb NPC scripts and shit that all lead to a very simple, unified storyline of repeat patterns, but a progression through learning what the patterns are there for and what they're really up to, and reversey language. Like, we were born understanding reversey language. You can't be a living being. I swear, you can't be. If you can't figure out there aren't giant bunnies outside and someone's up to something when they're talking about that shit, because that's a toddler. You're going to lose everything you own. If I can come up to you and tell you that there's a giant bunny hopping around, give me all your money, You will have nothing by the end of the day if you believe that shit. Reversing language is very simple, toddleristic level shit. It is toddler, isn't it? No. What they call that, the terrible twos. You're 2 to 4, and all you do is go around and you say, no. I was learning about child rearing the other day. Unfortunately, I'm very concerned with this being forced into my life. Not interested in it. Thank you very much. I know how much good it could do. I'm not interested in it. Thank you very much. Fucking. I was learning about that, and the woman was explaining that what she does to her kid is the kid during the 2 to 4 age will say the opposite of what you say. So what she would do, she would tell the kid, you don't need to go take a bath. And she said her kid would march right to the bathroom and take a bath and be like, no. And she said that shit worked. And this is what this reversey language shit really is. It's a toddler running around telling you the opposite of what's going on. It's the flying reindeer. They're working with the flying reindeer to take us to Mars. No, you're not working with flying reindeer. You're probably not going to Mars either if you're fucking saying this dumb shit. There's a fucking bunny outside, giant bunny for the children to come hang out with. Jeffrey Epstein's got candy for him and shit. Where's this fucking giant bunny? No, they're thinking 6 to 12-year-old, where the 6-year-old is like, they figured out to tell me to do something, I'll do the opposite. And they're like, well, let's tell them I want the opposite, and then have them do something. Let's tell them. This is like LSD shit, just making up dumb shit to distract people and shit. This is fucking crazy, retarded level shit. They supposedly have buildings. The buildings they're using to put sane people in are the buildings they need to be locked in. They tell you they're creating the buildings for their people, and then their people are the ones owning them and building them and drugging people and enslaving people in them. And then, it's like that one downtown Southeast. You used to drive down by it, and it was a whole bunch of people just stumbling in the streets outside it because they're fucked up of all the drugs they're giving them and shit. And then, right, but the reality is they're helping and they're fixing them because they're trash and they need fixed and shit. And it's like, so because this person puts on a suit and sells drugs, they're a good person. And the people they're drugging and are stumbling around out of their mind are trash. Because why? Because they don't have a suit on. Because they don't own a building. The reversey language. This is crazy shit. This is crazy shit that's really going on. But the fucked up thing is it's going on this level where it's like your parents are involved in working with them like they're robots on a network. There's been, like, the time they sent one of their lookalikes, like this Agent Smith lookalikes, to fucking try to kill me, Klotzi's look a little bit different than Agent Smith, but about the same. Might as well call them the same. Once they got black hair, I'll put them all together in the same spot. Fucking, like, that person clearly was somehow in the story progression of railroading me and trying to get eventually getting my ex into my house to fucking try to have me have sex with a brother. I can see these patterns have to involve these characters making the actions they're creating, they're taking, in order for the next action to happen. And of course, I'd be wrong, because they have this bullshit book about gods and reindeer and flying bird men and flying bird gods and flying reindeer that tells me I am correct, incorrect, and it's an invisible goat doing it, not the visible trash actually doing it. You see why they need to give you drugs is because you can see that they are visible people who are the trash, causing the problems, lining things up to help their fucking fellow companions, family members, look-alike cousins, shit-stained cult members to perform all these long chains of events. Generally not very long chain, very short chain, each step 2 to 3, 4 way. They don't have the processing power to do something very complex. I'm pretty sure most of this is being auto-generated, like buildings and militaries and millions of people supposedly working together, fucking to go invade nations. It's like, yeah. Oh yeah, 1 million people are working together in a great tight network. It works so great. Boy, I wish I could find one of those people. Fucking. No, I don't. Don't fucking repeat that fucking word to me in a video or some shit. Next thing you know, they'll be fucking making a fucking Hollywood A-class blockbuster where they got them saying those words and be like, remember that time you wanted someone to work with who was competent? Well, be careful what you ask for. It's like, no. It's like the bullshit fucking Koran bitch that generates over there at the fucking store the day after I made that video and shit. You see, it's so mentally retarded. It's either mentally retarded or it is a sick piece of shit. And we can already tell it's a sick piece of shit by what it's creating, what it's generating, what its personalities it can install and the bots are. So we're just going to lean towards that because that's all that matters. What matters when you're choosing a lover or a friend? What matters whether it's retarded or a sick piece of shit? Right? All that matters is a sick piece of shit. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it's retarded or not. I don't care if it's smart. Sick piece of shit. It has no purpose in my life. There's no will to accept it. Shit, bro, it's made some of these songs, like it's got this Camelot song, and I'm thinking that it might be random nothingness, but it's like, what can I do to make you want me? And it's like, you can't. It's obsessive. Anyone who says, what can I do to make you like me, is never going to be breeding material or friend material. There's no one who has to beg for your life who is needed or wanted. But this is what it's capable of producing, is people who are obsessed and rape children, obsessed with ignorance, obsessed with social addiction, drug addiction, shitty drug addiction. Fucking, drugs ain't even bad. It's just like, do you really need 50? Do you really need to create a new one every year and shit? No, it's bad because they exist and they'll turn anything, including Earth itself, into something bad. Anything could be bad. I can beat you to death with a tree. Is a tree bad? No, but it will be. You might not like trees after you get beat with one. Fucking, they are the people who build the factories to turn the trees into rocks, into tanks and bombs. Fucking, that's what they do. They take the drug and they turn it into a weapon and shit. They're fucking trash. And they're networked together far, far more. I don't know how many know this, but Jeffrey Epstein's not doing anything. He's not the only one, and I've never even met him. But I've met a hell of a lot of other people who are working under their agenda and are using him and people around him as a scapegoat for plausible deniability for their involvement in the actions that have created what is now known as Earth. And, well, hey, as far as I'm concerned, as long as I die 4 years ago, they can have Earth. As long as I'm away from them, they're gone. As long as I'm in a different world, billions, trillions of light years away, they can do whatever they want. They can have whatever they want. But as long as they're under that 10 trillion social distancing limit, they are violating my rights. And clearly, I mean, that's been their choice to do that. But you know, my request is a 10 trillion foot social distance. That's I noticed 6 foot wasn't enough because they can still just ignore it and you not know until they get within 6 feet, or just they still talk, still mime something out, mime sucking a child's dick, 40 feet away or something. That seems to be what's going on here. And again, it's like the whole time I'm just stating, well, I'm not part of it. Clearly, you don't even like me. And I definitely don't like people who don't like me, or show any sign that there might be a possibility they don't. Whatever excuse that's going to be followed up with, let's cut that off right there at the head. Fucking. But we're here, and they're somehow the NPC have given birth to me so they can cause these problems and shit. And while you're stuck on this planet, there's no laws against even preventing future people like them from having children. They are the planet. They're on all 4 corners of the globe. California's all the way to the west of the map. That's Donald Trump and shit. Fucking. And he's going all the way to the center of the map to bomb it. And then Ukraine's almost all the way to the east of the map. Oh, Japan. Japan's all the way to the east of the map. And who's that? Who's probably running now? Probably Trump. Einstein bombed it 60 years ago. So Santa Claus is running that shit too. Fucking. And then who's running South Africa? Where Elon Musk get rich at? He got rich down there. And, well, Greenland's the farthest to the north, and someone's been talking about that. You got outliers, but Ukraine's pretty far north, too. Fucking. She's got, like, the whole fucking map. Converging in Babylon and shit. And supposedly Hitler's down in Argentina in the southwest fucking corner of the map. And then I already read about China, so we just don't know about China. They have quite a different language, and it's different to read. But I already read, and we already know about Mao and the communist takeover, the Karl Marx takeover. So they've got I mean, they think they're communists, so I guess Karl Marx took over. So we got from the west to the east to the north, kind of. I mean, Canada's pretty far north. To the south, and you got the Australia, fucking, which is the furthest southeast you can go. And Alaska's the furthest southwest or northwest you can go. Got all that shit. They got every fucking thing. Every fucking thing. They come from all the fucking world to converge on all the fucking world. But it's being led by the capital right now, you know. USA, it's kind of like the capital of Israel, right? That's the way I see it. Everyone says, I think people say Israel is the capital of America, but I think America is the capital of Israel. So it's just, you see, reversing the truth helps glance. You know, in fighting, you learn about glancing blows. Like, if you hit me dead on, that hurts. But if you hit me like that, it doesn't hurt as much. It's a glancing blow. It rolls off them like water. That's a term that I've had the joy and the fortune of learning. That is a very famous term that many people might have heard before. And that's exactly what that is. That's exactly who they're saying uses that term. I said some people, very few, have got to the point where they say Israel's the capital of America. But in reality, America's would be the capital of Israel. But the glancing blow, you are off the target when you do that. Because, and it also looks, you know, you're like, oh, why? How does Israel have control of this place and shit? And it's like, Israel doesn't have control of this place. Is or has control. Israel is control or Israel has control. Who is America? What's going on in America that they're so obsessed with this shit? Well, why does America have a flying bird god symbol on their dollar bill? Why do they have the aEye symbol from Egypt on their dollar bill? That's a good question. Fucking. And again, I think focusing on both of these places probably would still be a glancing blow, because they're not. The point of the battle for the middle of the map is to control the map. The middle of the map is the hardest point to control in a warfare game. Everyone wants it though, because if you can control that, you can spread out. And if you don't control that, you can't spread out further. And it's a choke point. Wow, it just happens to be in our map. It is a choke point. So that doesn't seem to be of any real importance other than being the middle of the map, which everyone would like, who's after control, would like some control of. The choke point, Straits of Hormuz. I didn't need that to happen. You can look at the map and see it's a land bridge. It's the land bridge between the North and Africa. And just like Mexico is the land bridge, it's the choke point between North America and South America. So Mexico's always important, but who are they actually bombing? They're not bombing Mexico, they're bombing Venezuela, which is in South America. But Mexico's a choke point in the way of a land invasion and shit. So when you're playing for global conquest, which I think people are doing, I'm quite sure way more people than act like it are doing that and on board with it. And people trying to figure out what to do on Earth for video games and TV. There probably wasn't much to do except for go around and chop people up and take shit from them, bang on some bongos. That's about it. Fucking. And you can see the world leaders are obsessed with that shit. Fucking everyone's obsessed with, and you gotta be too, or you're gonna be like Gaddafi when you give up all your military. They just swoop right in and exterminate you and shit. You gotta do that, but at the same time, you have to have people who want to do that running those positions in order to do it. Other than that, you're not going to really understand what you're doing. And obviously, that attracts people who want to do that. But anyways, this is all bullshit. This is all fucked up that it's involving like all these fucking people who have been sent into my life and shit. I'm not worried about Trump and shit. I know the people around me are trying to get me to worry about someone else while they're the ones doing the shit to me. I know that, and I've seen their pattern. Unfortunately, I think they might have this software telling them to say this dialogue because it's the Pied Piper's leading them down a path there. But that's the only hope there is, really. Fucking other than that, it's just like you're literally trapped in a torture chamber, and it's called Earth. Fucking. But yeah, I gave up on obviously 2020. Like it made all the characters fucking put on their battle flag and their anti-me battle flag shit. That was them doing that shit to me before they did it to themselves. No care at all about me. And it was all caring for themselves after that. Fucking, that was a clear sign where the game just takes every character it's generating and has it throw up their crip rag and shit. Fucking, when they've been trying to hide that they was gang members all along. And the fucking propaganda still slipped back into that shit. Who was that? I was fucking at I was at some concert and I was talking to the dude, and I wasn't really talking about this, but for some reason he interjects with that weird NPC dialogue, and he's like, I'm not a part of this, right? And it's like, you're like kind of the last person I would think who was part of what are you talking about? We weren't talking about this. Because you were the last band I seen, and that was after those events happened. And you were the only band that was playing after those events happened. So this would be the last person I would be having this conversation with and shit. But it did that, man. And it seems like they're fucking NPC designed to be working together to do what they're doing and shit. Fucking... definitely is, and it's setting them up and shit. Setting the Pied Piper's playing the tune and shit. Fucking. Just like it set them up for the COVID shit and shit. You know, it's like, hey, go kidnap this person and drug them and shit. We're gonna act like he's fucking in control now and shit. And then you're gonna fucking choke on it for a minute. And it's like, I'm sure of that. But you know, they don't get it, you know. Like during that year, they still sent people to like poison me and shit. And it's like, wait a minute, your friend over here is trying to convince me I'm controlling the weather, and I just caused the rain that put out the forest fires. In fact, the whole fucking building of people at Walmart were acting like I'm God when I went in there, and I just did that, and then now, but now you're gonna poison me, and then have one of the clones right there on hand to deal with kick me out of where I'm at and then have a clone on hand to remove me to a different place. Have a Trump clone on hand. It's like, so the computer's not giving them, it's not relaying messages, it's not providing them with logic, right? I walked up to one of the news reporters and I was like, yo, why are you guys fucking running all that anti-Asian shit? And then they have one of their clones come assault me, and it's like, wait a minute, COVID just happened 2 months ago, bro. Like, like, it's COVID life from now on. And why are you having someone assault me out here and shit? So it's like, you know, it's like what does doing some dumb shit and I'm smacking it, and then it's like, I don't know who started smacking it. I don't really care. All I know is the answer is, I'm not a desperate attention-seeking whore. You can say the fuck out of my life, but it can't accept that answer because it must be something it's up to. And so, you would think, you know, if they weren't NPC and somehow they're placed in these positions to play these roles, and you know, that would tell you, if you think I just fucking called a flood to put out forest fires, maybe you shouldn't have someone assault me and shit, fucking, because what are the possibilities if I can call in floods and shit? They're not making any sense. It's like they don't have brains, which coincides with the rapid production, the rapid creation speed. The speed of creation is very fast. It's faster than I can assemble a clay pot to watch characters or events and things appear. The creation speed is pretty fucking rapid sometimes. I want to say I had it down to just looking at someone's feet and then looking up at their face and that person being that person. But I can't be 100% sure because I was in a different nation and it colors the skin differently, and so it gives off a different contrast tone. But it sure looked like that because I was testing it all through 2020. In the first half of 2021, it was just me. Like, can I move the sun? Can I create human clones? What's going on here? What can we do? And so I ended right there and shit. Fucking, I think that happened. That person looked a lot like the person I was talking about and shit when I was studying that. But it's very close to that. It's very close to that. Fucking. I mean, I was just driving around the neighborhood one day, probably talking about fucking modeling and acting, and then drive right by the park, and they got, on the West Coast, they got some fucking actor search set up in the park and shit in like 2 hours. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of any of this. I don't like it at all. Very, very unsettling to feel like I'm the only living thing there is, and then have a barrage of NPC missiles launched at me and continued fucking way. You know, the weird thing is they're using insurgent techniques. They come in and then they attack and then they retreat, and then they come in and attack and retreat. Like, it's like they fear, which is weird because that's that little thing that the couple who I don't have solid evidence weren't there to fuck me over, like portrayed, was that fear, that they have fear of what they're doing, which would be the reason you would, which would be a supporting reason to use insurgency tactics, as fear that you can't just walk in and kill your enemy and shit. So I don't see why it hasn't been more effective, though. You see, I'm not buying into any of this shit either fucking direction, because you could just come up to me and launch a fucking missile in my face. You could just use a rocket launcher, a big fucking anti-aircraft launcher. I'm sure we'll figure out what you're going to be able to do and what you're not going to be able to do if you just get some balls, get some cojones, inject some testosterone, come up with a missile launcher. I won't even run, bro. I'm not gonna run. Come on. Come on. If their brains weren't being isolated by the network, fucking on that communication skill, then you would know. I'm not even gonna run. I'll put the fucking thing to my head. I'll grab your fucking hand and push the fucking finger on the trigger. I almost did that, and I put the gun to my head, and I liked the dude, so I didn't. Fucking, I was just like, fuck it. But that dude didn't piss me off, and he was kind of like on my side, like propaganda-wise, like what he was out there in the streets talking about. He was talking about things that ain't real. And so that's why he came up to me. So that was the wrong person to scare like that and shit. Fucking, so I wasn't going to do that. But I'll fucking do it. I mean, I've already done it. And I've already thought this through. No, you bring it up, you put it to my head, I will fucking punch your fucking hand and make you pull the trigger. Fucking. Why don't we just do it like this? If we're trying to figure something out, why is it being dragged out decades? Why is it being dragged out decades? It's a fun game. It's a fun game. Torture and enslavement is fun, isn't it? I don't know how fun it is. I don't know how fun torture and enslavement is just yet, but maybe I can be shown. Maybe I can be experience the joys of these events of setting up people's entire lives and destroying them, and slowly prickling away at them and just torturing them in the slowest Chinese water drop torture ever invented and shit. Fucking, I don't know what that's like. Could be fun. Sounds like it'd be fun. I didn't used to think it'd be fun, but you know, 40 years on Earth, it sounds like everyone else thinks it's fun. It sounds like everyone else, it looks like everyone else has been having fun. Fucking, and it sounds to me like a good idea too, at this point. And it's fucked up because it looks like that might be the reason why it's putting them on this fucking network rollout, is because provocation leads to the action that it requires, it requests to solve the provocation problem and shit. It seems to be that there's almost no way that's not what it's doing, like, because I'm immersed in it now. I wasn't before. Didn't want nothing to do with it, but nowadays I'd like to, dig to the core of the earth and plant some C4 and watch it blow. I'm really immersed. If you told me there was a fucking tunnel to the center of the earth, it'd take me a few days to climb down there, but I wouldn't be making these videos. I'd be rappelling down that bitch. And that would have been a long time ago. Because I'm immersed now. After COVID, I'm immersed because you can't not be when you get kidnapped and drugged and you start having seizures because the drugs, they fucking pump you full and shit. And just the realization of 2020, the whole scene, it's fake and set up and designed to be exactly what the fuck it is. Every little step of the way, from people trying to kill you and killing themselves and you getting blamed for it so you can be locked away and from society for the rest of your life, and have your, so they can tie you down to a place with a girl that doesn't even really like you, but it acts like she does, to come around and try to get you to have sex with her brother and shit. This is like some real, it's like, well, what do we do to people trying to force me to have sex with men? And what do we do to cities full of people banding together to make events like this? What do we do to my mom, who seems to be involved? And as I know, accountability. Look, there's no rules for robots. The only rule for robots is they have zero rights. And the rules I've written for robots are any robots are all common sense. No robots shall speak. No robots shall exist without being branded. So you can see the tattoo from a mile away. No wonder it's programmed this into their tattoo, because their model number needs to be printed on their forehead to identify that they isn't real. That's where that little AI slop story of fear of what of what they think would happen if someone catches them, fucking comes on and shit. That's where that comes from. And see how weird that is? We didn't figure out that they're a specific production model until like 2020. So they had already someone had already invented their fear of having their production model labeled on them back in the 80s, I think. And that's how set up it is. And then look at the story it comes along with. There's a real need to have robots fucking identified as non-living beings and shit. And there's a real need to exterminate any robot who's ever walked a planet and convinced other people it is real in order to fucking enslave it. And then combine all that. And that's what's apparently going on out here. That's apparently the real story. Flying reindeer aren't real. And if you don't know that, your brain isn't real. And there's nothing we can do. So don't worry about it. Don't talk to me. And giant bunnies aren't real too. And so, if you can't figure that out, your brain ain't real. And if your brain ain't real, don't worry about it. You can go live a good life. What is real is the speed of generation out here, and how fast and how able things are to change. And at MPC, I've been auto-generating music with lyrics taunting the listener that they're enslaving the planet. It seems to be what's really going on here. So all that bullshit. Who could have guessed religion was bullshit? Wow. It would have taken a rocket scientist to figure that out, huh? Everyone knows that there used to be flying bird people, right? But did you know that I've never seen a flying bird person? So maybe they're extinct. Maybe they all died off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure of it, right? This would literally be a conversation I would have with Aedesaurus and shit. Well, maybe no, I don't think maybe they died off, but maybe you're right. Let's just say you're right, they died off. We used to have them. It seems like a conversation we would have and shit. That's why we stopped talking to them when we're 4 years old, because it sounds really stupid in ways. And it's reversing progress. in their actions, their personality, the small personality loadout of the characters will tell you what their next action for the next 20, 30, 50 years will be. That's how I told you exactly what will be spoken of each time I contacted this person again. Last time it was just to contact them to prove that I was right, that that would be what they talked about. Because when a person goes and destabilizes a nation, that person has destabilization on their mind. They're thinking of going and destabilizing a gay prostitute to get 50% off. They're thinking, well, they're trying to get it free, but haggle. They're thinking of destabilizing the gas station attendants so they can trick them into looking out the window while they steal a pack of gum off the counter and shit. They're very limited personalities, very limited capabilities and shit. So when they're doing something one way, like talking about flying invisible fucking bunnies, they're doing that. And probably one of 7 sentences they say, because their personalities and abilities are so limited in scope, that an average person might just be this way and not have a personality with that trait. You talk about crocheting or watching TV. Well, they aren't talking about building rockets and fucking rocket science and shit. They aren't talking about destabilization. They're talking about crocheting and watching TV, and that's what they do. But that's not personality. You got to pay attention to how they're doing it and what purpose they're telling you it for to learn personality traits. But I'm saying that the scope is limited. It's like there's limited RAM for storage, or it's keeping the programming small because the robots will malfunction if they have too many directives. Too much code jumbles together in these devices. That happens. So maybe that's a replica of what's creating the illusion of the computers there. Itself is too much code at once can cause malfunctions and shit. But always, it's when a crackhead comes up to you fucking telling you it needs $100 because its car broke down and it's got to get back to fucking South America and shit. That person's going to go do that again and again and again and again and in different ways. They're going to find different ways to do actions like that, because this person has invested time in their life effort into doing this, and it is them. It is what they're capable of and what they will do and what they can do. And talking about giant bunny type shit is a sign, as any toddler knows, if someone comes up to you talking about giant invisible mushrooms walking around, there's something up with this person, and they're not to be trusted because they're making up bullshit for some reason. What's that reason? Well, it's for the children. Jeffrey Epstein does it for the children, so they can come learn to go bomb Iran, but first learn how much he loves them, and so the Pope can wash their mom's feet. It's a personality. Bomb Iran, wash some women's feet, give candy to the children. Is there a link? Do you think there's a link there between the psychology profile of bomb Iran, wash women, strangers' feet, giving candy to children? I'd call it fucking sick. It probably a sick pedophile, but there's gotta be a link, especially because their limited capacity. And it seems to be it gives them two main two main types, and a supporting third as a standard there. Fucking, it seems to be the way it is and shit. Anyways, fucking amazing. You guys worship aEye as your god. That's crazy. That's crazy. Half the planet at least does. They got the aEye in the church and shit, where they built it on top of 200,000 corpses that they slaughtered in Mexico. They got the all-seeing eye in the pyramid. They got the aEye on the U.S. dollar. Did you know that not only, okay, so it's called, the god's called One Eye, not aEye, right? Big difference. The letter A is one. Okay, so one eye. There's one eye in the word aEye, too. So, there's also that. And I asked for everything to be shown in 2020. And that's when they renamed computers to aEye. And as we know, many humans have been worshiping aEye as their creator for 6,000 years, they claim. And we know since 1980 that has been happening. You can see the Hollywood stars do that. They do that to try to gain power and whatever. You can see LeBron. Kobe got killed. He was doing all that shit, and then they put that in the helicopter cartoon where he died, and then they killed him in the helicopter. And then LeBron took over, but Kobe was hyped with doing that before every game. He was doing like every aEye gang signing could and shit. Sometimes they appear tatted up with it on. Shit appears like kind of out of nowhere sometimes with that tatted on them, and weird events, weird specific types of people. Really weird shit, fucking. But it seems to be, it's provoking a response with all the shit it's been laying the fuck out. And obviously it's got a very nice array of personality. While the characters it generates might have two personality types and a third backing it, it has its array of 7 or so personality types that probably logically is distributing according to, we got the patterns coming into my life, so that's obviously set up events, and it's purposely distributing that. Hopefully it's in soon, right? Fucking, I don't really see me ever liking anything